Hello, on today's episode of Let's Talk FGO. Happy Shirou Day, everybody, and we're going to be talking to you about a little upcoming thing called a Grail Front, the Castle of Light and Dark, and Day and Night, and all that fun stuff. And also, I'm sure you want to know our final thoughts on the Halloween Rising event, whose story is definitely over, for sure. I'm one of your hosts. This voice is Omega. With me, as always, is Lucky, and welcome back, everybody.
With that, I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka a ritual gone horribly wrong. And while we here at Studio Omega like to bring you the latest in FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for the JP and EM version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should just go watch a Captain Laserhawk. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's, I know Netflix is very interested in animation, but I feel like that one kind of snuck up on everybody.
Well, I think it's partially because everyone thought it was probably a Ubisoft cash grab. Because it is using
co-produced by them,
yeah. But no, honestly, I feel like they're doing more the Barbie movie where they're like, Ubisoft said, all right, I know you're gonna make fucking fun of us, go for it, full send it.
All right, well, I'll check it out if I got some time. I've got a few things on Netflix to catch up on. But that's not the first thing we're going to talk about today. The very first thing we're going to talk about right now is to remind you that this episode is brought to you by our patrons like Admin Harp, Black G, Call Me Zed, Carlos Dragon, Fighty Cyspird, Jeremy Vasquez, JDV 9000, Justify, John Sandoval, Starlight, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Regent Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robyn, Charvor, Sean Pryor, some guy named Bob, and Varian the Crow. If you like what we do want to see more, consider supporting on Patreon. Get episodes early, lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out.
Thank you.
Thank you for support, yes. Alright, that means... Okay, I can close that tab now with the list. Sorry, I was getting a little lost in my own notes for a second. Alright, okay. Well, I feel like we should just jump right into it. One, because it's a little later than usual, but also just because there's no way to not start this one with a slightly spiced, slightly salted.
Nice.
So let's check out everybody's favorite Kohai, Mash.
Senpai! 起きてください.
Because it's time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai Register for pro tips. So, this one is going to be slightly loaded, but I remembered this just now before we got started. So, I want to say, hey, people at home, normally, this should go without saying, but don't burn your welfares or other event units before the event is even over. This is clearly not the intended game design.
Yes, I heard that story.
Yes, I have to admit, this story does come to us secondhand. This was something that was going on in other parts of the community that, came back to our community Discord, link in the description. But, basically, there was apparently a discussion at other community locales where somebody was foolish enough to get their permanent Cinderella and burn her right away, which made them literally incapable of finishing the event because the final quests require you to put Cinderella Liz in your front row. And as a sub-discussion, whether or not there should have been some kind of training wheels or guidelines or, note to the user that, hey, you're going to be locked out of finishing this event. By the way, we don't do reruns anymore if you do this. I'm on the sense of, no, I don't think the game designer should have to account for that. They warn you when you're about to burn a 4-star unit, period. And if you've been playing this event long enough to get the permanent, you know that the game keeps asking you to put her in the front row. That's the thing they've been doing. It just strikes me as foolhardy. I think there's a reason why welfare's... is it the optional quest that requires you to put in there? Okay, but still, again, you know that this has been a mechanic that you are required to put Ellie in your front row. Until you have done the event, don't do that. And I want to say, you probably shouldn't do that with welfares anyway. Obviously, if you get extra copies you don't need, you have to do something with them. They're just sitting in your fucking second archive. But remember that welfares don't give you, rare prisms when you burn them. You get them in your gift box for receiving an extra copy of a welfare. So, yeah, it's a weird one for me to just be like, in general, we in the past are very anti-burning units, period. It seems like an unnecessary expenditure. I know some people are like, oh, I need every single space in my second archive for EXPs. You do not. You don't need that extra space for EXPs. I've been playing this game since launch. Even when I have stockpiled loads and loads of EXPs, I've had plenty of room in second archive. Also, I have enough space in my regular inventory. If you're, mega whale enough that you are, maxing out your normal storage servage on new servants, you can afford the mana prisms to, buy more second archive space. Okay? You'll be fine. But also, just in general, like, don't burn any unit you've got at less than NP5 just because you're wasting resources. The game design has clearly slanted in directions in recent years that the more servants you have, the more servants you like level up in any way possible, and the more servants you use, the better, right?
Right.
Like, there are several extra master missions for having servants of different classes leveled up, having them leveled up at certain levels, having more servants with higher bond levels, doing more interludes and rank ups. Servants you don't, normally use but do have fully leveled are a great way to get that out of the way. So, yeah, it's just, while we're in the pro tip section, just pro tip, don't burn units if you don't have to. If you don't like a guy, that's me, by the way. That's Columbo. Haven't spent a single ounce on him, but he just sits at level 1 in the corner. There's no reason to get rid of him because I can stockpile future stuff into him. I will probably eventually at some point level him, but, there's plenty of space for these kinds of things, okay? And all of it is just, it's value you're leaving on the table, as they say. Alright, save the thumbnail. And yeah, also, just, like, the audacity to be like, well, I've completed the story of the event, but the event isn't over. I'm gonna burn the unit right away. Like, what? Plus 100% damage, my guy.
I don't know. Some people take their taste to the extreme, I believe. I guess is the only way I can say it.
Yeah. I mean, there was some discussion about this in our Discord, and like I said, somebody brought up the idea of, like, it's ultimately it is your account. It's all single player, you can decide what to do with it. But I kind of, go on the point of there's no real reason to, like, logically, rationally, to burn or not to burn. There's no, like, well, actually, I mean, you might argue that there's, like, pure logical reason for bonuses not to burn, but you know what I mean. There's not necessarily, especially if you're not going to do anything with that unit anyway, there's not necessarily pros or cons to burning or not burning. So, it's one of those nihilism things. Like, there's no inherent value in burning them that's not equally there in not burning them. Like, what, you're going to get some extra rare prisms? Well, you get extra Saint Quartz if you keep them, so does that balance out? That's on you. But at least in the context of doing it with a welfare before the event is done just feels like you're asking to miss out on some shit. Get some weird stuff. Again, very clearly not intended game design. That was your pro tip segment. Well, let's move on really quick to Records from the Throne, our regular achievement topic. And then after I say my bit, I'm going to dash across the room and grab my bottle of water. But for me, very simple. I've, fully leveled, got my Elizabeth Cinderella Smile protected, and acquired my Grail. Still working on those NP copies, because those are surprisingly deep in the points ladders.
Yep.
But I've gotten, I think, like, I got 2 crystallized lures as well, so, we're trucking. I'm farming right now, even. So, I'm going to grab my water and let me say his bit.
So, on my end, it's pretty much the same. I have not got NP5 Cinderella. I'm still working on that. I'm actually a little behind on my farming, believe it or not. I might have been really caught up in playing Cyberpunk and watching things on Netflix. But I said I did get my Grail, and I did protect Zenobia's ass. Very happy about that.
Much more
Powerful
visible
Queen
smile on that art. Chatters with up. It was the thumbnail last time. Alright, okay. So, we're trucking.
We trucking. No All the World's Evil this week. It's been actually pretty slow.
Pretty normal. Nothing sinister's been happening. Well, that means it's time to check in and ask you, did you finish your master missions? Probably. To complete your master missions this week, you're going to need to defeat 3 each of good, evil, and chaotic servants. Excuse me. Had a sleep burp there. Drank a lot of water all of a sudden. And then you need to get 50 drops of each of the 3 currencies for the event. The sesame seeds, the junior red houses, the poison apples. So, basically, do the event. Between the story quests and the, little event quests, the mini CQs, that will get you all the servants you need, in addition to any farming you may do as well. And also, farming will get you all the drops you need. So, yeah, no, just seriously, play the event. You'll be fine. How do I know it? Just play the event? Well, all my master missions are 100% done, and I wasn't even checking. Literally looked it up, today. But that does mean that it is time to move on to special and seasonal Skelegrams. Because we do have a couple of items of news to talk about. There's a few things going on. First of all, the oddly generically named, but we got the Halloween Rising pickup summon going from the 19th until the 25th. So you've got 3 separate raid-ups for Mordred, Old Man Lee, and Scheherazade. So, yeah, I kind of expected this was coming when we got that Napoleon banner very early. But, yeah, in case you didn't pick up on it, this is an entirely new set of banners for NA. This did not happen in JP. They just got the, Molay banner with Zenobia, and then about a week later they got the Napoleon and Dion banner, and no third banner as far as I could tell. So, yeah, we've gotten some extra raid-ups on a short rotation. Obviously, those probably aren't as in demand as Molay being limited, but Old Man Lee and Shez are story-locked, I believe. Actually, Shez might be permanent, but she's got the true name reveal, which is always awkward. Old Man Lee is definitely story-locked, though, so there's, a few benefits there and here and there. But for now, we're just chilling until our next event. I'm not sure what exactly we have going on next after Halloween wraps. Obviously, we will have the new Guda Guda in November sometime, but, we've got some gap dates and weeks to go on. But in JP, as I alluded to earlier, we have the pre-release to the next Grail Front event, as announced on previous streams. White Castle by day, Black Castle by night. The pre-release is going from the 18th until the 25th, and so, while not explicitly a Halloween event, the new upcoming Grail Front does certainly sound a little spooky. A little bit of a spookums, if you say so myself. And, there's a giant castle in the backsplash, so, interesting things are going on there.
Yeah.
The actual release date is going to be the 25th. There will be a stream beforehand. I believe the only special guest on the stream will be Aiko Kawasumi. At least that's all they've announced so far. There's a login bonus for various, of things. A few Saint Courts, some apples, and there's like 3 million QP on one of the days. There's also limited time missions to clear story up to the end of Lost Belt 1, I believe. If you've already done all of these, you get your Saint Courts immediately. I think there's 7 or 10 of them in there. So a little bit of Saint Courts in there, some progress. I'm not quite sure why, by the way, they're signaling through the end of LB1. The event itself only requires Fuyuki Clear, and based on the event bonus servant list we're going to talk about in a second, it does seem like it may be leaning towards later events, but maybe they're just trying to get people through Part 1 again. Because to that end, there's 0 AP on story through LB1, so completely free story all through Part 1. This is replacing the fact that it was quarter AP previously due to other campaigns. The All Embers Open, which was previously there for, I think it was either the 3K days or one of the other kind of preamble events they've been doing, but they do have this extended through this time period. You're looking at double FP, half AP rank ups, and half AP interludes for the bonus servants, and the bonus servant list is as follows, and as someone in Patreon chat just brought up, it's very short. The entirety of your bonus servant list is Urale, Neja, Taikobo, Huang Feihu, who was the 4-star on last year's Halloween, Penth, Asterios, and exactly Koyanskaya of Dark.
That's it.
That is the entirety. So it sounds like we may be having a little bit of a Tunguska reunion here. Obviously, there's no notes for further story clearance, so probably not directly related in story, but we've got an interesting, cavalcade of folks. We have, several directly Chinese-related stories, and then several related Greeks, and then Koyan kind of sticks out like a sore tail. That said, I've asked this earlier, and nobody said for sure or not, but I'm pretty sure Koyan of Dark hasn't had a raid up yet this year in JP, so I'm gonna guess that it doesn't. Based on it being a Grail Front, I wouldn't assume necessarily there's gonna be a new SSR, but I would assume there will be a Koyan of Dark banner with this. So keep your eyes out for that. Also, probably Taikobo, he's also a limited SSR, But yeah, an interesting selection. But yeah, that's all we've got for now. Expect further details when that stream actually hits.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll have to see. There's been some discussion, about whether or not will there be story in this Grail Front event, and I would assume a little bit. I believe that the most recent one before this was the BB one, which did actually also have some story quests to go with it, besides just an opener like, here's Skahak, she's dressed as a bunny for some reason. She's gonna make you fight guys for 7 days. And other, fun parallels. So, yeah. And that's the news so far. A little bit of a light news week, but it does appear to be, once again, still in a setup period.
Yep. Oh, it was quiet on all fronts. But with that, let us move right on over into this week. Let's talk FGO Mailbag, the segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. Let me manually count these because YouTube lies.
Yeah, I think it's still the true number's still bigger.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, okay.
Yeah,
so
YouTube still says there's 7.
Don't
It's
know
wrong by
what's
2 this week.
It's off. So we have nine lovely comments to get through here, and we'll get to them all. So everyone sit down, hang tight, and we'll start right meow. So this first one comes from Consumer of All the Cookies, and they say, wishing you guys a happy weekend and good vibes. Wah 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 wah. My question this week, if Fate was to have a collab with a food chain in America, what chain should it be, and what would you want them to offer? Food chain. Food chain, huh?
It is a pretty common thing in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Extend over here. Final Fantasy XIV, for instance, just did a collab with KFC, but only in Japan.
Yeah, no, collabs with chains are everywhere. They have chains with convenience stores, they have chains with fast food, they have chains with cafes, hotels, luxury brands. They are not afraid. They are not afraid to slap anime on just about anything over there. Oh,
I'm trying to think, I'm racking my brain if there's ever been a side reference to any, type of fast food or anything in Fate. And unfortunately, even though being urban fantasy, not really.
No, because Shirou cooks.
Yeah. Shirou is, well, he's not literally so poor that he wraps back around to cooking for himself, but, he doesn't seem to have a lot of money since he works odd jobs for restaurants and has turned that into cooking. But it's kind of interesting because, despite the fact that she's totally that kind of person, I don't think we've ever seen, Taiga come home with, piles of takeout or anything,
Honestly, she No, that's because she's hooked on Shirou's cooking.
I assume Rin has to cook for herself?
Rin knows how to cook a bit, as you see from today's menu. She knows how to make chahan.
Yeah, I'm just the main thing is that for one thing, Rin definitely doesn't know how to order Grubhub.
No, does not.
And she lives in a semi-abandoned, mansion somewhere. So I don't. Does she, would she walk down to the restaurant? No, I don't think so. So she has to prep her own food. Girl doesn't know doesn't know how to work a TV. I don't think she can work a TV dinner.
Honestly, I can't necessarily think of any food chain that I would collab. The only collab I really want to see is just the convenience store collab where they just, slap all the characters all over the windows and you can get maybe a limited cup or something.
That is something that has definitely happened. Fate characters have definitely visited a convenience store. I mean, McDonald's would be the big one, and I'm sure that Saber would enjoy some chicken nuggies. I'm pretty sure at some point Shirou does feed Saber a hamburger, but I think it was nondescript and generic.
The Excalibur.
Could work. I know sometimes the specialty limited time run burgers are now big enough that they're putting toothpicks or pins in them. So you could put a little Excalibur pin in the top.
That's what I would think. The sword in the burger.
Yeah.
The sword of promise sauce.
The unlimited fryworks. King of Heroes. Do you have enough fryers in stock? But yeah, no, like I said, I don't think Fate has any obvious touchstones for it, and but genuinely, most of the time when Fate references food, it is indeed, it's just like cooking with Emiya family. It's mostly home cooked meals, or SR is all about street food basically, which is not quite the same. So yeah, I don't know how they pull that one off. Put your thoughts in the comments below.
So with that, let's move on to the next one. This next one comes from I Can See, I Can Fight. Cute. Do you guys think that humanity's last master is heading for a ceiling designation after Restore the Bleached Urge? I think it could make for some great story moments if we have to fight against Clock Tower mages in the present day. A lot of people have thought about that. I personally do not necessarily think in that same direction. While I think it'd be cool, I think the Earth is just necessarily too fucked to maybe have this deal with, and it's such a, for lack of a better word, neat and tidy bow. That honestly, I'm gonna be real. That doesn't seem Nasu. You just don't get to go back and everything fucking hunky dory. Something has changed forever.
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly because there's the story with the Lost Order stuff seems to be heading in a direction that I'm not really aware of because we haven't got it yet. So
yeah,
we'll have to figure out exactly where we're leaning when we get there. But it does kind of seem like the major conclusion, which is the thing that all of us were thinking, was, well, we'd be the last Lost Belt, and that didn't unbleach the Earth because we've never known that was going to work like that. We only, wanted to do that to definitely prevent humanity from being overwritten and from the alien god from winning. But at no point were we actually 100% sure that would, reverse anything. That said, I mean, depending on what kind of epilogue we get, it could still come up. The story of FGO has made sure to actually bring up the sealing designation before and discuss it, though Gordolf did say that because he works in policies, he would get us out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see if that does come back at all. Master on the run. Master's got a gun.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So, let's move on. The next one comes from a sleep-deprived goose. Q, with the end of 2023 approaching slowly, what are your most hyped servants of next year? C, I am big excited for Summer Scani for a heartboner reason, and everyone's favorite child puncher, Bazette. May your vibes this week be immaculate. Later, homie skillets. I've never been called a homie skillet before, and I'm for it.
Also, well, I don't know if my vibes have ever been immaculate in my life, but we'll see.
I just got out of a shower. I am, pretty close to godliness right now.
Fair enough.
But with your question, my two big ones definitely for next year is, for one, Coin of Dark, right there at the beginning. Gonna punch my wallet like a wallet puncher. And then for Summer Ibuki.
Summer Ibuki's a pretty big one.
Big. The big Buki.
There's gonna be Summer Gary also. But let's see. I can slide down the list and see who everybody is. Let's see. Yeah, starting right away with Coin of Dark. Now, Charlemagne's finally going to get here. That's a big tentpole for us. Then we got Summer Ibuki.
Yeah.
Yeah, scrolling the list, I do believe that is probably the peak. It's kind of interesting. Obviously, there are still plenty of zingers next year, but it does kind of feel like with the Lost Belt release, Lost Belt 7 being way at the end of the year and only, and with none of the servants coming out right when that launches, right, that a lot of the hype from that is kind of pushed onto the next year, so 2024 for us and NA should be a little bit milder. You got to worry about, a couple of hitters here and there. Some are Super Bunyan. Then you got, Charlemagne, Ruler Moriarty, a couple of other heavy 5 stars. Obviously, people are going to go crazy about Archetype Earth in the anniversary times.
Yep.
But it's funny, after summer, the year does get very thin. I think they're mostly focused on rerunners. Because Mr. Rasputin's not until the New Year's.
So, with that, let's move on. The next one comes from Pumpkin Master, who says, Q, if Zenobia ever got a swimsuit, what type of swimsuit would you want it to be?
I'm pretty sure she can rock any kind of swimsuit she wants.
Give her a racing swimsuit.
Yeah, I was thinking the most ironical thing would maybe be something sporty, sport-focused.
Yeah, something sporty. Listen, I really do like Zenobia's character. She's a powerful queen, and while she can crack some money, she's usually pretty no-nonsense, so yeah. But I don't think we have anything really else to say about that, but let's keep moving on. This next one comes from Gahulian God. But they say, was watching a video of the Anime Club reacting to Fate characters, specifically an 11-hour reaction on the Artorian Knights, the Artorian Associate characters, and the Lost Belt 7 Artorian characters, when a thought came to mind. If the Fate Knights are supposed to be reflections of the actual Knights, would have been too crazy for Melisandre's alternative MP that she does on 3rd Ascension to have quick instead of a budget for Flag Burster Lancelot's AoE quick MP. Have a good day, have a good upcoming Halloween, and when I had this question in my head for several weeks and just kept forgetting to post it.
Well, I'm glad you did remember. A short answer, no, probably not. Because her ability is her own at 3rd Ascension. I mean, I guess you could talk about them being mirrors, but no, the turning into a giant dragon and shooting them is specifically Melusaine's thing. May have been doing some research in this punt. And they call it the spear mode. I don't really know why, other than just to balance out the classes, they decided for it to be a spear, because even when she uses it, it's like an arm blade. I guess her whole body is the spear or something. Anyway.
I do believe they've explained it. It is kind of like that. Her whole body's the weapon.
But that is supposed to be a reflection of Lancelot as his saber mode, which is single target, because that's the single target version, which is why I believe they went with arts.
Yeah.
A better question is probably why is, because I think she's arts AoE, but why is Summer Melusine not AoE quick with all of her guns? But the sky is blue, so.
I don't have much after that, so we're just going to keep on going on. So this next one comes from Agent 418. They say, hello, Lucky and Mega. Have a good weekend, y'all. P.S. Going to an out-of-state wedding sounds like a good time to listen to the best of FGO a few more times. Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
That's what they're there for. God, sorry. I don't know when would be the right time to post it, but I just had the existential pain of like, oh yeah, someday I'm going to have to make a Lost Belt 6 compilation. Won't that be fun? Side listening to us talk for like 8 hours. At least those were live streamed, so I'm fairly certain that... Actually, no, the audio will be compressed, so it will not be a one-to-one with the time codes. Because I edited the audio version I have. Yeah, that's going to be funny. Thank you. Somebody in chat said November of next year. Yes, thank you for telling me to hold off until LB7. No, probably before 6.5. It'd be a spicy thing to do before anniversary next year.
Alright, but with that, let's keep moving on. This next one comes from Monster Girl Aficionado. Oh, that reminds me, actually. Actually, I'm gonna post this for the patrons right here, but I came across, cause I was on Twitter, and on Twitter I follow a lot of artists, and an artist said that they worked on a thing, and I looked at the thing, and it's a Kickstarter thing, and it's called Mana Quest, the Monster Girl Hentai RPG, where you basically take over a shop and get rich while building up your harem of monster girls in this comfy hentai plus 18 RPG with the first cast of waifus. Like, I'm gonna post it here for the Patreon so everyone else can maybe get a look at it and see if that is something that is up their alley. Like I said, I know other people like monster girls, and I definitely like monster girls, so I'm gonna put that right there for everyone to see. If you want to see more about this, you should definitely join our Patreon so you can get access to our Patreon Discord channel where I will post just random ass shit for you to look at. But aside from that, let's go on. This person says, Dear Luck and Omega, which Liz is best, Liz? Thanks and keep up the great work. Sending good vibes and wishing you well. Wah, 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 wah. Best Liz is Carmilla.
I mean, it's a very cultured answer, though unfortunately it would probably start a fight if you said that way. I mean, I'm kind of in agreement, but I mean, my thought is just, give it the mathematician's answer. Liz is the best Liz. And then you're like, which one? Yes.
If we have to talk about best Liz design, I would say Elizabeth Japan. I love Elizabeth Japan's design.
But yeah, the Liz Japan's pretty good. But the Wadarko has done a lot of designs. So Liz, very good.
Can I find
a shitload of that currency? Let's buy some fucking coins.
Still waiting for my corroded Liz costume though.
Yeah, or at least for that to come back. It doesn't even come back in Extella Link, really.
No, it doesn't. But let's keep going. Yeah. So, this next one comes from Master Admiring His Liz Collection. We do have a lot of Liz, and we still got at least one more to pick up.
Yep. 9 Dragon Ellie.
I guess we're only going for 2 years of Halloween this time.
Well, again, we'll have to see what the actual event is, but it does seem like it's not Liz-centric since she's not on the bonus list. Unless they're hiding from us. But Rumi Okubo's not on the guest list for the stream, so I'm assuming.
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a small affair. But their question is, what welfare unit has seen the most use on y'all's accounts? Have a good night. Okay, so on a technical basis, for me, Cha-Cha. Cha-Cha is, I think, probably my only welfare that is Bond 10, because at one point I used her in Ember farming. I am the rabbit with three MLB K scopes. I just slap AoE berserkers in there and fire. Yeah. This was before we got the new daily, so that strategy doesn't work quite as well anymore. But before that, I actually got through a lot of AoE Berserkers just doing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's where a lot of my Bond 10s came from. That's how I got Fran and Lancelot, Zerxalot to Bond 10.
Oh,
and
God,
Weaver, actually. Yeah, just the classics, baby.
Let's see here. I think, yeah, just from that, I think I got, just doing that, I think I got Bunyan, Cha-Cha, Kiyohime, Raiko, Summer Sashi. I feel like there was like a couple more in there that I can't remember, but yeah.
Also probably means Bunyan's probably up there as well.
Yeah.
For me, I'm thinking, oddly enough, I think it's probably one of my single targets just because of the reliability of using them, but it's probably depending on things like, because obviously as the years have gone on, I've actually, rolled classes and slots to move on from stuff. So like, I don't use Assassin Shiki nearly as much as I used to, because I have other assassins who are both AoE and single target. Same with having a lot of writers, I don't need to rely on Kentoki and as much anymore. But for a while, it was definitely probably like Ryder, Kentoki, or Chloe. And it's really hard to get away from using original flavor BB just in that Moon Cancer slot. So I've spent a lot of time with her, and I think that might actually be it. If it's not those guys, it's probably just Summer Jean Alter, because she's a berserker and is a summer unit. Like, I'm looking at the list of more recent welfares, and I'm definitely like, yeah, no, these guys have not broken in as much. Like, I like Summer Hokusai, but I have quite a few good sabers to use when it's not like a summer bonus list or something. Same with, like, poor Santa Carna. So, yeah.
Yeah. Then let's go on to the next one. Oh, it is the last one, I should say. This has to read more on it. Someone got typey. But they say, this is from the Tyrant King awaiting the celebration of his first 120 servants. Nice. Question. Hey, I am the bone of my sword Lucky, and just because you were correct doesn't mean you are right, Omega. Sounds about right. With both Street Sharks and Extreme Dinosaurs coming out on Blu-ray next year, and Disney Plus doing a live-action reboot of Gargoyles, my question is, what is your favorite 90s cartoon, and which of them would you like be brought back in modern day and either reboot like Gargoyles or continuation of sorts? Anyways, that's it for me, sending good vibes your way, and hope you have a great evening. P.S. That 120 servant was this char. Thank you for letting me know. I was going to be curious about that. Oh god, man, 90 cartoons with...
I feel trepidatious.
You probably should.
I mean, Disney has been kind of, like, intermediate on their live-action, like, TV shows, but their live-action, like, remakes or readaptations are generally not super inspired.
Not really. But man, like, I can name 90s cartoons, like, fucking forever. Like, honestly, like, I think the one that probably sticks out the most for me, personally, is Batman the Animated Series. And, like, Spider-Man. The fucking DC and Marvel cartoons of the 90s are pretty fucking peak.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's necessarily nostalgia speaking, or, if they still hold up, but...
No,
man.
I'm pretty sure Batman TAS still stands. And recently, actually, you probably didn't watch it because it was a long video, but OSP actually did a detailed diatribe on specifically the Black Suit Spider-Man arc, not necessarily the Venom part, which led with the iconic adaptation from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah.
Which does feature the great line read of Black Suit Spider-Man yelling at Shocker, "Shocker! I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth!" Which is, like, hella overacted, but also cold as ice. So, like, no, there's definitely some good reads there, and, like, Batman the Animated Series, which, by the way, is a completely 90s era series. It started in 92 and ended in 99. But, like, that won multiple Emmy Awards.
Did it?
That's an Emmy Award-winning series, so, yeah, no.
I did not know that.
Very solid.
That's, like, the most iconic, but, like, there's
also
other one...
the original X-Men animated as well as in there. Another classic.
Yeah, no, I think, like, the three, I really remember, whereas, was X-Men, Spider-Man, and Batman. But there was a lot of other things I watched, like, during the time. Do any of y'all remember SWAT Cats?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
SWAT Cats, just two mechanics working out a junkyard, basically, make a fucking fighter jet out of parts and, go around flying, solving, like, stopping crimes and shit in their jet. Just, okay, why not?
Alright, I think I might have to fight this list of the gamer of forgotten 90s cartoons. How dare you insinuate that Courage the Cowardly Dog is forgotten?
No. Everyone remembers Courage.
Return the slab.
The things I do for love.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean,
Give me my bet.
I could see them saying it's forgotten because it was only 4 seasons and ended in 2002, so there are, people who can vote in this United States of America who weren't born when Courage was still in the air, but no, man, fucking solid. Also, do not imply that Dexter's Lab is forgotten. How dare you? Shit, was Dexter's Lab only 4 seasons?
I think it was, yeah.
That must have been long seasons, because that or they took, hiatuses, because it ran from 96 to 03. Okay, Pirates of Darkwater is a good reach. That was only 2 seasons.
Yeah.
SWAT Cats is on here lucky at 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
93 to 95. The Beetlejuice cartoon, I remember that one. Though that started in the 80s. Damn, was Tailspin only 1 season?
Yep.
Shit, dude.
Listen, they just kept playing the same shit over and over again.
Yeah, that was the early syndication days.
Yep.
There was a teenage 90s reboot of Johnny Quest? How
Yeah.
did I miss this?
You don't remember that? That was on Toonami.
No, I don't remember it. That's weird.
Yeah, no.
I guess I wasn't paying attention in 96 or 97.
I always remember.
I watched, back in the day, it used to be that later in the night, Cartoon Network would run old-ass cartoons, like the original Johnny Quest and Scooby-Doo. So I, remember those as a kid, but no, I must have missed that about... Okay. Street Sharks is on this list. Can't be that forgotten if it's getting re-release.
I always remember, the real adventures because, it always started with, this green CGI fucking,
But yeah. I mean, I think that, the shows I really, really remember from, the later 90s, some of them have a decently, decently good conclusion. I feel like because they capped it with a movie, Recess doesn't need a follow-up. I don't know what unfortunate, here's the thing. It's much like me being I don't know how I feel about that doing a live-action remake of Gargoyles. You gotta ask me, do I trust modern Disney mega conglomerate or, Discovery Warner or whoever? Fucking, who owns Nickelodeon? Paramount?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, no. I hear things about Star Trek. Well, some Star Trek stuff is good these days. Lower Decks is doing fine. I don't know if people are happy with what they're doing with Picard. But, I don't know if I trust them to, fire off, a modern continuation or reboot of, Recess or Doug. But, there's some stuff there.
I'm trying to think.
Got a reboot, so.
What I think I need probably most is I probably need, a good Static Shock reboot.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think, Static Shock is one of those ones that, I think had a really strong premise and was actually really good for the youth of the time.
Yeah.
I should say, but, kind of fell off, after, oh god, I think it had, 2 seasons?
No, it's 4 production seasons.
Oh, it's 4 production seasons, excuse me.
But I think they're shorter, because it says there were only 52 episodes total, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were 13 episode seasons, basically, so.
Yeah, so it's I think that's probably the one I'd probably nail down is
also, before anybody gets too technical in the comments, I know we were discussing 90s cartoons. Static did technically come out in the year 2000, but
oh, did it?
Culturally, decades don't end just because you changed a calendar year. The year 2000 was still the late 90s. I would argue that our culture didn't really take a big pivot until 9/11.
It's true.
That really forced everybody to kind of re-examine what the fuck we were doing. But yeah, no, Static Shock debuted September 2000.
Another really good one, Batman Beyond.
Yes. That one got cut short a little bit. That one got so cut short that they had to put the fucking epilogue to Batman Beyond inside Justice League Unlimited. It was it's very weird to watch that episode out of context these days. Just be going through the line and be like, oh yeah, we're at the end of Justice League Unlimited. Why is this episode all about Batman Beyond? They tucked a couple of Static cameos here and there. And Static was big enough that they re-included him in Young Justice, but that series also has a troubled as fuck production. It's been canceled a couple of times, But yeah, no, Starlight's saying one of the best things about that era of DC cartoons was just that everything was integrated. Batman would cameo in Superman, Superman would show up for an episode of Batman. They all got together to do, Justice League. Hell, it was that the season 2 opener? It was a pretty big one of the season openers, I think it was, for Static, was the Batman the Animated Series crossover, where you got to go to Gotham. So yeah, no, that's always the weird thing. I really like a lot of those Supers cartoons from the 90s and then the early 2000s version as well. Love the X-Men Evolution.
Mhm.
But, like, at the same time, because of the way, like, comics characters are, it feels weird asking for, like, continuations or reboots of that, because it would just be a new thing, right? Like, we would just be doing the stories again. I guess there's some... They do occasionally do some, like, semi-continuity tie-ins. Like, I think there was a Harley Quinn-focused movie a few years back that was done in the animated series style that had, like, Bruce Timm on art direction. And it's
Honestly,
Bruce Timm,
the
by the way, who was the... Did the signature style of Batman the Animated Series. That's his art style, if you don't know.
Honestly, the fucking Harley Quinn isekai is probably gonna be pretty fucking wild. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, Harley's kind of like a very hit or miss character these days.
Honestly, I really think her popularity exploded after Arkham Asylum, and they put her in a fucking skimpy outfit. And people's like, "Oh God, sex appeal," and then kind of went balls
I mean,
with
Harley
that.
was always pretty cute, but the clown costume is not necessarily flattering compared to like how Poison Ivy dresses in TAS, for instance, and generally how Poison Ivy dresses. Period. Which is, you're lucky if she is dressed. The woman is mostly plant. She does not need to wear pants.
I love Poison Ivy.
Ivy's great, and I'm so happy that she and Harley can have a productive relationship together.
Yes.
Quinzel really needs to get away from the Joker. That guy's just no good. Though, I would like to remind everybody that I'm fairly certain the "wouldn't you like to rev up your Harley" joke did make it to broadcast. There were some jokes that they had to cut, but I believe that one actually made it in. Yeah, I think the Harley Quinn focused show is good, but like I said, the problem is they go all over the place. Like, that video game that is possibly never coming out, Kill the Justice League, is like, I think that's heavy on the peak too much Harley Quinn saturation. And obviously, like, the Suicide Squad movie the first one was kind of mid. The second, was that one the Suicide Squad? Because it wasn't Suicide Squads. The second attempt was better, but like I said, I don't think as many people watched that as would have, because they came out with the first one, which was not good. Yeah, like at her core, Harley is, I think, an interesting kind of like unique original generation character. She was made up for TAS, if people don't know. Which I do have to qualify, because like I said, the show ran entirely in the 90s. There are people who can, drive cars, vote, and drink alcohol and smoke cigarettes who weren't alive when it was on the air, as much as I hate to acknowledge Father Time. So yeah, no, like, Harley was made up for the show, and very solid in there.
Yeah, I know, that's why.
Second opinions.
Yeah, but like in that show, she like dressed specifically like a Harlequin, so
yeah,
she was cute.
And in general, I think the Arkham game series were trying to, like, not necessarily grit up Batman, because gritty Batman already exists. He's existed since like the 80s and 90s, but thanks, Frank Miller. But like, I feel like they were trying to go for an art style that, while still stylized, was definitely like more like, hey, you probably remember Batman the Animated Series from when you were a small baby child who didn't have any money. Here, now you're a big boy and you can buy video games. Check this shit out. You can break so many bones, Batman. And I think that's a legitimate marketing trend, especially for something like Batman that can kind of be, all ages. But, like I said, not something I would want to apply to everything. Also, by the way, chat, there's probably not an X-Men cartoon right now, right? Because of the fucking buying the rights back from everybody?
No, I don't think so.
Interesting. Actually, that is true. I think, in general, Disney has been sitting on the X-Men. Like, they finally got the fucking rights back, and the best they're gonna do with it is put Wolverine in Deadpool 3. Which will still probably be fucking hilarious. But, we're gonna sequel to the 90s cartoon? Well, hey, there's the answer to that. Yeah, I know. They put all the old shows on Disney Plus because they got them. That's where you can find the 90s X-Men, X-Men Evolution. You can find, like, Avengers, Marvel, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, all their old shit.
Hang on, I have to check something.
He's checked.
Okay, technically, this counts. Do you know what I want a reboot of? Because you just said 90s cartoons. I want a reboot of Metabots. First episode...
I watched a little Metabots as a kid. I got some of the figurines, actually.
Yeah. The first US episode aired July 2nd, 1999.
Mm-hmm. That said, I mean, I feel like because I saw, for instance, like, Sailor Moon on some of those lists, and I'm like, yeah, we don't need to worry about that. Japan took care of that for us. Like, I mean, if we wanted to get into 90s anime franchises, no, I think most of those that were relevant are still pulling strong. Though, God, this reminds me, completely unrelated, but we're basically we're in the weeds now, as we do. But I gotta track down where I can watch some old, original, Lupin the Third dubbed, because I saw some clips, and that, I don't know when they made this dub, but they're fucking bangers. I'll share, actually, I'm in the mailbag, but I'll go to regular YouTube and dig that out of my history, but I saw a random compilation of, like, some Goemon and Zenigata clips. Lucky, you'll get this. Zenigata's English dub actor is it's the same VA who does Bata, which also means he's the same VA who does Gaius von Balzar originally. So I'm like, this is very funny to hear that in this context. All right, where is that? Yeah, so here, I'm just like, man, some of these are bangers. I wonder when this was made. But yeah, I think that's most of what we got about that. We've run through most of the things.
Mm-hmm.
We've almost made it to an hour of raw audio time.
An hour of raw audio time. But I do believe that is everything for the mailbag, though. So let's move straight on over into Chaldea Free Talk.
All right, we're going. Yes,
all right.
I had to open my window because it's officially fall now, so it gets stuffy in here because the AC doesn't run. But it's a pleasant 70 degrees outside, and we'll probably get cooler before too long. But yes, our free talk related to FGO element this week is Halloween Rising final thoughts. Because story's over. We can't go home yet.
Nope.
So yeah, let's see. How far technically have we gotten last week?
Oh, I believe we had only been a couple days in.
Yeah, I think we just met as Liz insists on referring to them, the 7 hotties. So yeah, shockingly, going to the castle did not solve everything right away.
No.
And arguably made things worse. Though, it does probably result in some of the more interesting plot twists we get in an event.
Yeah.
So that was very fun. So yeah, we beat up Molay. It's a very funny moment I wanted to remember where Mordred talks about searching Molay for the Grail, and I'm just like, with Mordred being in full armor, I can only imagine Mordred either giving the unconscious Molay like a pat down or just like grabbing her by the ankle and shaking her out, you know?
No, it's totally the ankles.
No Grail fell out. Because it was a trap. It was a trick. We were bamboozled. The Grail was in us the whole time.
Somehow.
Yeah. Still not sure about that one, but it's all a dream, literally. And it does kind of explain how we were able to just magically costume upgrade Ellie earlier.
Use Grail magic, baby.
'Twas a wish. So, very funny things happen where Molay puts a goat mask on the master and you Hulk out, but then your spirit is ejected and they have to anchor you to a temporary vessel and you become a pumpkin head, including in Sprite. It's very funny. Love those little details. But yeah, this is kind of a unique experience where, in a sense, you end up being the final bad guy.
Yes, you specifically become the Dark Young, which is a little wild to think about.
And they do actually do something they don't usually do, but they did directly name drop Dark Young of Shubnigra.
Yeah. Normally, actually, now you mention it, they usually don't go out with names.
That's also very interesting because I believe specifically the Dark Young were a creation for the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Like, definitely the name was, because there were, weird tree-like things in previous Mythos stories about Shub, but they were specifically given the Dark Young name in the RPG, so that's very interesting to see FGO, directly call it out. It's probably still, fair dinkum because, strictly speaking, your appearance as a boss is absolutely nothing like how the Dark Young are usually depicted. Dark Young are usually, okay, imagine imagine a tree, but instead of branches it has tentacles, and instead of roots it has 3 cloven hooves, and it's got a giant mouth that wants to eat you.
Yeah, they're scary.
And generally don't have any other anatomy.
I think the Dark Young and Overlord, the anime, was actually a pretty good representation of them. If you know, I think it was season 2 or season 3.
Yeah. In this case, you're more of a traditional Baphomet style goat demon, which is still appropriate. It's just kind of interesting that they went that route.
I find it hilarious that your demon form still has the Chaldea uniform coloration. It's a little hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like you just hulked out in your uniform. I was like, heck.
which I do believe is how they phrase it when it's happening to you. They're like, oh, Master's getting big. But honestly, I think this is a really good twist, not just because it's fairly unique for it to happen to us, but also it puts us in a very funny position because, you know, we all have to flee the castle, we can't defeat the Dark Young, you know, you're like fading away and have to occupy a temporary vessel. So we all get blasted out, and who do we meet when we're blasted out into the middle of the woods? It's Molay, who is, like, completely lost. Her ritual did not work as intended. Her deity didn't show up. You know, there's a lot of talk about, like, she straight up explains her plan. She was going to use this dreamlike state to contact the Holy Mother of the Abyss because while... how exactly does Molay phrase this? She says that she worships the Holy Mother like a god, but she is still not an entity that is of this world, so even though she's very powerful, she can't just cross over willy-nilly. Like, most of our discussions with, you know, the old ones and the other, like, outer gods we see in Fate, they're real, but they're locked out somewhere else, so they can't, you know, just show up in our universe. That's why Rom, for instance, tried to make a whole fucking baby singularity to make that work. And it did, a little bit.
A little
really
weird.
Annoying. Thanks, Rom. But since her ritual didn't work, now she's kind of stuck with us and, like, you know, trying to insert herself into the group, which is great.
It's very hilarious.
So I saw somewhere else on the internet somebody use the phrase to describe this Molay as a herbo. A himbo, but a her. Because obviously internet, the phrase bimbo has a very different context these days.
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, which I completely agree with. Like, I would have otherwise called Molay a female himbo, because, like, she is completely, like, well, not completely head empty, no thoughts, but, like, even when she's being, like, vaguely sinister to us, she also cares way too much about, like, being part of group activities to, like, be in our way anymore. And she gets into very silly fights with everybody. And no, it's great. Really does a lot for her character. I think I like it even more than her beleaguered, you know, supervillain type self. Her, oh god, I've been defeated and now I have to hang out with these guys it's great. And I think they integrate it very well with the sprite switch.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so basically the like halfway point twist is you find out it was all a dream, you had the Holy Grail the whole time, now you're the bad guy, and now the dream is really fucked up and evil. You gotta fight your friends, do all this stuff. Zenobia is still, you know, like, honestly, talking about earlier about her characterization and stuff, Zenobia is a great character because she's, like, I wondered if maybe she would have more of an antagonistic bent because, you know, of the way the event is phrased and her being her homeland. But no, she's just on the straight and narrow the entire time.
Yeah, no, Zenobia's great.
Like, even when she's, like, doubting us, she's doubting us like a reasonable person would. Like, she's just like, okay, you can't expect me to believe, honestly, there's two of you, and we have to be like, no, it's Halloween, there's two of her. You know, that kind of shit. So, yeah. And she just, you know, does a great job of keeping everybody on track, making sure everything works out, and trying to keep us positive, even when, you know, Ellie has some bad turns. She uses the power of her song to knock out our friends who get briefly brainwashed and are not happy about it, with the exception of Tuara Tota, who's just like, haha, I'm too cool for that, I guess. But even brainwashed soon is just super polite.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Even the brainwash ones are good.
Yeah, no. We get some really good stuff there, and Napoleon and Mordred as kind of like the Bash brothers of the squad is a really interesting dynamic that I do appreciate. Like, it says a lot that both of them get to have their moments of being a dumbass, but also making sense, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Mordred, you know, tries to blow up the forest a couple of times, but usually that's a net positive. As Liz jokes, Napoleon hits on anything with a pulse, but also at other times he's very, like, it's actually kind of funny that when he's not being flirty, his, like, back and forth with Molay is very respectful, you know, using her title, Grandmaster, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's fun to see all these guys in kind of a new context.
That's always the good thing about these events, is they always let you see a little bit of a different side to people. Or the same side, just, you know, turned up a little bit.
Yeah. Like, there's a great moment where, you know, we all realize after freeing our friends from brainwashing, it's like, okay, so to get out of this forest and stuff, we're gonna need to turn on Ellie's, you know, idol power to max. How do we do that? I don't know, cheer for her. And Mordred's just like, okay,
what?
Hold on. What do you want me to do? You want me to wave my claret like a glow stick? Is that what you want? And we're just like, yes.
Do it.
And then Mordred's just like, okay, you have to fight me first. And then this is the fight I talked about in the pregame where it's a fake out. You only have to break the first bar before Mordred gives up and does her best. Hey, Ellie! Everybody gets in on that train. Very fun times. We do, like, as usual, it does feel a little redundant, but I think it still works because it has been a while since there was a Halloween of, like, kind of like, you know, forcing Liz to question her whole thing about being an idol.
Yeah.
Again, which feels a little redundant, but at least she doesn't stay in that funk very long. She's just like, you know what? No, fuck you. I sing.
Well, I also think it's kind of the things of, like, you know, giving up your dreams and, like, when do you stop and all that stuff.
Yeah, she has to, like, question if it's her limit when we fight the Dark Young and can't scratch it, you know?
Yeah.
We do use great use of the, you know, the Countess of Blood theme, like Liz's little leitmotif from back in the Extra days.
Mm-hmm.
Showing up that repeatedly, which is good. I have to ask chat, how many people didn't remember what I said and got by the choice in the final pip?
I did it intentionally.
Yeah, same. Because I didn't, like I said, I didn't know what the choice was. I just knew that there was a forced choice, and one of them was,
It's
like,
very obvious.
had you redo it, and I'm just like, well, yeah, no, they call it out to you, but I'm just like, oh, this is the choice? Well, I have to see what happens if I click this other thing.
Yeah.
And no, you get a straight up bad end. I was actually kind of surprised for, not that Halloweens are necessarily, like, perfectly lighthearted, you know, there's some real appeal in there, but I was definitely like, oh wow, no, we just straight up went there for a bad end, and then you just cycle it back around, and they're just like,
Yeah.
remember what Molay told you.
I was like, but I will say, like, real talk, the other one is more hilarious, though. The actual one that's up. Because you have to choose between a kiss and a headbutt. The right answer is a headbutt, and I just find that hilarious.
Yeah, because you were told to figure out what the, like, least fairy tale thing to do would be. Which, obviously, kissing your prince is very fairy tale, and that, you know, kind of, like, does the thing, closes the loop. But headbutting your fairy tale prince, yeah, that's not right. And then the gag in the epilogue is that the master wasn't the prince the whole time. You were indeed the fairy godmother.
Mm-hmm.
Or godfather. And the prince was Old Man Lee.
Apparently he helped you out a couple times?
Yeah, there was a mysterious voice that spoke a couple of times that was not super identified, and that was supposed to be him. I do like their justification, though, for why he was the prince. Like, Liz has a brief existential crisis, and she even makes a comment about, well, you know, I guess I prefer older. Yeah, that was one of the points, is telling you about the pumpkin body was the disembodied voice, so that would be him helping you. But, like, Liz has a little existential crisis, and then, like, Molay asks her, like, well, did you, like, think of him just before you went to sleep? And it turns out, you know, she had a normal conversation with him in the halls.
Right before this all happened.
Yeah, so that's why he was, like, on her mind as she got magical sleeped. So, yeah, you know, some funny extra punchlines. I like the great thing of it coming back, where at the very end, Zenobia's like, by the way, Liz, your costume shows too much leg. You should reconsider. Anyway, bye. And it's just, it's the perfect, you know, end point, because obviously, you know, Zenobia is also showing a lot of skin.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a fun one, and it all kind of, you know, wraps up in a good way. And then there's, you know, some extra Molay commentary for the epilogue. But yeah, very solid event. Liked it a lot.
No, it was good.
It does the thing that I think most events should accomplish, which is, you know, when you've got new banner units and a new welfare, it does a great job of introducing you to all of those units and giving you every reason why you would want to roll for them, you know?
Yeah.
Like, gives you all the characterization you need, pitches, you know, Cinderella to you very well, because she's also, like, right there on the top. And yeah, all around, very, very solid. I do kind of feel like, while I liked that some of the rewards, like CEs and stuff, like your first CEs were very early, I have kind of hit a point where I feel like I'm, like, dragging a little in the point farming. Like, I think I hit all my milestones to get all the bonus quests, but rounding out the ladders is taking me a little bit of extra time. I mentioned this off mic, but I've straight up dropped using event bonus servants to farm and just using Arts Blastum strategies.
Nice.
Because, listen, it's real easy to have Musashi 200% loop around on Arts when there's 6 guys. And because 200% is my cap, I don't know if I get more. I might get more refund than that. That just doesn't count. So that's hopefully going to speed me along to make sure I get all my extra NP copies, because those are buried a little bit deeper in the list. But yeah, we're working on that. So I think it was a solid event. I guess we'll have to see how you know, next year also turns out. Though that's obviously being a slant, right? Where it's not even directly Halloween related, it's more related to, like, the water margin and stuff.
I mean, I really don't mind, as long as I get more fun Liz.
Yeah, Liz is still a centerpiece, so. And it's our welfare pretender, so that's good. So yeah, we'll get in there and see all the steez.
But I don't think we have necessarily anything else to talk about with that, so... before we move into what's up, our weekly talk about just whatever we've been doing throughout the week, is there anything else Fate-related that we want to get through? I think we've already said, Happy Shirou Day. Everyone, remember you are the bone of your sword.
Yep.
I saw Aniplex USA Twitter getting in on that action as well. Not straight out shaying it, but they did several Shirou appreciation posts.
Yeah. I would change my profile picture, but it's still x.com, therefore I am still Norded. But yeah, so that's just a thing. And if you don't know, I tried double checking. I think the only reason why 10/20 is Shirou Day is just because that's when, like, a Shirou thing trended on Twitter one year, and now the Fate community just knows that this is Shirou Day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
it's fine.
How it be, which is fine. Like, I'm glad we got a day. It's just, one of those things where I was like, oh yeah, is there a particular reason why today's Shirou Day? The answer, no, not really. We just decided. And if you didn't know, if you're watching this, late when it goes public on YouTube, and you didn't realize yesterday was Shirou Day, yeah, that's why. Now you know.
Sure.
Now you know. Yeah, I guess that means it's time for the segment version of What's Up.
Yeah.
For technically the first time.
And we actually got stuff to talk about this week. And it's not too fucking late.
No.
God.
It's a little late, but it's not too late. And we've only been recording for like an hour 15, so. I admit my personal range of topics is semi-narrow. As the major thing I've been doing this week is the thing that I planned on doing last week, which is playing Cyberpunk. I mean, off and on. Technically, for the first couple of days this week, I didn't actually get that much Cyberpunk done, but that's because we're wrapping up streaming for Castlevania. That's the thing we did. Sorry, brain. But that was a relatively early one because, everybody go check those out. It won't take you too long, but I think I beat my personal record on finishing Symphony of the Night. It only took like 8.5 hours, which is on the lower end of time to clear.
Mm-hmm.
So, very, very solid there. But it meant we had some extra time. So Monday and Tuesday, I'm pretty sure we did once again a decent amount of. I mean, in general, this week we've been doing a decent amount of Stardew, but in particular, those days I did not do much else besides run streams and do Stardew.
I apologize. Lucky is a sucker for a good farming simulation, and I've never got a chance to do a multiplayer. And the only problem is I can only do that map when everyone's there, because I don't want to be a dick and have everyone lose their shit while I'm just, playing off in the world. Seems
we've already seen that effect. Like, Loth, I think, thinks he's lagging behind later than us, because he's caught up in terms of, like, tools and stuff fairly quick. But, yeah, like, we did our first sesh, like, one day when Loth had to take off, so he was only in it for an hour, and then he basically missed all the rest of spring, and so he was a little behind. So, like, we've been very good about trying to keep up that we're not doing it without all four people, and when, somebody has to call it a night, we call it a night.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a lot of fun. This is my first time, like, actually really sitting down to play Stardew.
Sometimes having it with friends is the best way.
Yeah.
If I may complain a little bit, just a little bit, Marth, our good buddy, usually plays tabletop, friend for years. He does the thing where he plays with a guide open, and he has been just objective.
Yeah, the community. It's weird, right? The community center is open to all of us, which already makes it way easier to do. Because we could, if we really wanted to, we could multitask. We could be like, okay, Lucky, you go in the mines today. I'm going to fish today. Marth's going to forage. We haven't had to do that at all. Like you said, Marth has the wiki open and is fucking laser focused on hitting those community center bundles. I do believe that is, from what I remember of Stardew, the meta anyway. But,
well, yeah, no, that's how you unlock all the things. But it's just it's the weird thing of, like, I would like to do some stuff, but then Martha's like, oh no, I've already got it. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess.
This is like I haven't completely given up asking, but usually when I pull up a crop and I've got like a gold star, I'm just like, hey, do we actually need this? And everybody's like, no, we got that already. I'm like, okay. Into the fucking money pit it goes. The only thing I have looked up on a guide is just I have double checked what Penny likes, because it's very funny. So the way multiplayer works is each person can only, or rather, each NPC can only be romanced by one person.
Yep.
So as the least experienced player, I was at the technically at the bottom of the love interest list. Everybody else got started on their picks before me. That said, Penny seems okay. She likes books and stuff, but like it's just kind of funny that like at one point I was surprised because I was like, oh wow, you guys are really trucking. I think it was when it was like we were like halfway through spring and like you and Marth were already getting like your 2 hard events, and I was like, oh, maybe I should actually start paying attention to this kind of thing and like talking to NPCs, not just being lost in the woods. But
it split up nicely because I'm going after Abigail, Loth is going after Haley, Martha's going after Leia, and you're going after Penny, you said.
Yeah.
There's also Maru and Emily as well.
Yeah, Emily, that's right. I'm like, I can picture her face. Done some work adding NPCs over the years. But yeah, so like it's that's the other thing I've bothered to look up. Usually I just ask you guys if something is important or relevant, and then we can, move on. And if it's not, it's not. We go about our business.
Mm-hmm.
But majorly, I have been playing Cyberpunk, which you are streaming to our patrons right now.
Yep.
Check it out.
Like I said, with What's Up, our weekly segment, I will be trying to stream whatever I am playing at the moment, so we can have a little bit of visual flair. Unfortunately, this will only be available for our Golden Up patrons. Well, actually, no. Technically, you have to just get into the channel, but you wouldn't actually see what the hell I'm doing or hear what we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if I can check what the permissions are on the recording channel. I think you have to be Golden Up patrons can actually enter the channel, so I think you have to be that to view the live feed. Yeah. I think that's how Discord works. But yeah, so Cyberpunk been on the brain, and basically when I put a pauser on Cyberpunk to start Samurai Remnant and hardcore that for like a week, I was like literally positioned to go into Phantom Liberty right away. So I have indeed been actually doing some Phantom Liberty content now and kind of bouncing back and forth. I'm not like super deep in the plot of Phantom Liberty. I don't know how many quest lines that is, right? But and to clarify, I'm still at oh god, what's the full name of this quest? The job. It's got Lucrezia in the name. I haven't actually met Idris Elba yet.
Oh, I'm actually further than you then.
Yeah, I think you ended up doing a few more of the story quests than me, but I ended up getting embroiled in more of the gigs and side content. Like you told me that at least when we were talking earlier, you hadn't started the thing with El Capitan for stealing vehicles.
Yeah, no, I don't know where to start that, honestly.
I think the first one is right outside the restaurant area where you go to that meeting. Like that strip. You should just get a random like car icon, and it should be like, investigate this weird signal. Because I can explain, that is the form of I think the infinitely repeatable content they added.
Well, I think it's one of them.
Yeah, the airdrops are probably another source. I think I haven't really focused on those, but I know they're out there. But the way the thing with El Capitan works is, for instance, if anybody's ever played GTA Online, it's very eerily similar to a system that's in that game, though slightly less annoying, though not perfectly not annoying. Basically, what happens is this. I think this blends in very well with what they did with 2.0.
Airdrop. I'm going for it.
Where they funneled like all vehicle sales through El Capitan, right? So basically, what these missions you do is Capitan marks cars. You will see a steering wheel icon on your minimap, and he wants you to jack that car. Which cars it is appear to be random, and where you need to go is randomized, and so are your little like flavor objectives. I gotta say, this is kind of the part that does annoy me a little. It does seem like these are completely randomized. I mean, obviously, the number of places you have to go is a limited number of destinations because you do have to park it in a garage, so it has to be a place where it works. But basically, you get 3 flavors of these missions that I've seen so far, and I have seen repeats, so I think this is all of them. Number 1, basically, is going to be a hot pursuit. When you grab the vehicle, and at certain points while you're driving the vehicle, enemies will just spawn in front of you, and Capitan will yell at you to lose your tail or kill the enemies. This one kind of sucks. Especially because I'm still sassy that people wanted the fucking police overhaul, because now you gotta drive in Night City with open world bullshit, and if you, like, crash too hard into another car, accidentally clip a pedestrian, you will also get cops on you, who, while they don't, like, teleport behind you anymore, do still spawn patrol cars in front of you, too. And it's just like, I feel like the police overhaul in this new system are not necessarily meant to work together. Because I will say, at least, you don't automatically get a wanted level even though you jack a car, which is nice. But it just seems like the extra chaos this causes tends to also cause police kerfuffles, which is not good, because one of your other sub-objectives is deliver the car without too much damage. In this case, enemies don't usually spawn, though sometimes enemies will spawn around the cars, so you gotta watch out for that, right? You have to, basically take it from hostiles. And then the third flavor is El Capitan gives you a time limit to go there. This one has been kind of hit or miss for me, because half the time I've gotten the time limit objective, I have been driving a slow-ass piece of shit car. I did steal a fucking Caliburn, though, and it gave me the time limit, which was quite nice. So the time limit thing seems to mostly be a chance of luck. If you get a good car and a good destination, it's very doable, but other times I'm like, how the fuck would I have driven this panel van here in a minute, Raze? How would I have done that? There's also, like I said, alternate ways to steal them. Sometimes they're just driving by on the street and you gotta jack them. Sometimes they're parked with guys standing outside of them. Sometimes you get this really interesting mechanism where, like, you get in a fucking hacker car that El Capitan has built, and you have to drive near the target vehicle until it cracks the vehicle's ice and kicks the people in and out. Don't ask me, by the way, why they decide to get out of their vehicle when it stalls. But they do, and then you kill them and take it.
Oh, no, trust me, I've seen that shit. I've tried using, self-destruct on vehicles. As soon as I do it, people just bail from it.
Yeah. But, but when you complete these, you drive the car into a garage, and there's just a big box waiting for you, and in this box is a fuck ton of good shit. I think every time I've gotten skill shards, money shards, several weapons and mods, 2, 3, or 4 parts, and more importantly, every time you do this, you get a token for a discount at AutoFixer. Which gives you 50% off certain cars. And yes, 50 off. It's a big chunk of change. And it unlocks new cars as well. So this is how I think you get access to a lot of the cars they added for the DLC. So, it's real good content, but because it seems like it's fairly well randomized so that you always have that X factor, there are times when you're going to get combinations that are kind of annoying. You groaned out loud when I said that there's the hostile ones where guys will just fucking spawn in front of you.
Yeah.
Which does suck a little. The way I do that is I have the reflex perk where I double tap circle and I do a fucking vertical jump out of my car. I just jump out, pull my gun, and waste in slow-mo. Cause I like that you can now have full combat from vehicles. It's still kind of annoying to just pull out your dinky little pistol and shoot at guys while you're driving. Weaponized vehicles are fun, but yeah, it's just a little complicated. But it does seem like they've done a couple of options there. And I do like these kinds of things. I now understand why I think they had to do a recast and rework of Mr. Hands.
Oh yeah, no, he is way more involved and has different lines.
Yeah. And he's also a real guy. I haven't been able to meet him personally yet because I haven't done all his gigs, but he's at a location in Dogtown where hypothetically you can drop by on him. Though when I wanted to double check, he's behind an elevator I don't have access to yet, so I assume that's going to be a later objective. But he's in it. And honestly, he was a little standoffish before. I think he's a pretty cool fixer. He's already done me a couple of favors on some gigs.
Oh yeah, no.
And when he learns that you're gonna be in Dogtown right away, what does this man do? He just gives you a fucking European or Asian economy truck. He's just Dogtown's gonna be pretty tight. You know what you need? You're gonna need a tiny car. Fucking love that tiny car. That said, I usually roll around Dogtown in the Hellhound, the fucking 6-wheeled armored vehicle, because I bought it and it's good. It's a tough little cookie, and it has a rocket launcher and machine guns.
Oh, terrifying.
Yeah, no, it seems like it's worth it. It handles pretty good. It's got some decent armor and it's got, multiple weapon systems, so it's a little ballin'. But yeah, we were talking off screen and I fucking love what they've done with Dogtown. I kind of wish I had gone back and looked at the map in 2.0 pre the X-Pack to just see what that space was before, because I think it was all blocked off, but there is a lot of geometry in that one little district now, and it really works.
Ooh, man.
They've got 2 fucking markets in there, which is very interesting.
Fuck.
I also want to say, I assume you've looked at some of the merchants in Dogtown.
Oh yeah.
I find it very interesting that all of the merchants, and I appreciate this, are packing just little permanent upgrades.
Yeah, no, you just buy them. They're all iconic little things, but
they can give you +2 extra max health. slightly better stamina regen. I think they can speed up your RAM regen and stuff. And just they're all over the place. It's just these little. They're a little costly, but not super costly. They're like 12K a pop.
Listen, I'm running with over 1 million eddies. I'm all right.
Yeah, I know. Like, I mean, I've gotten pretty low buying up all the shit before, but then you just go do a couple of gigs and stuff, and like I swim in the cash. But yeah, like so, it's just there for all that little flavor. There's a lot of little weird things they got going on there to check out. Barguest as a quote unquote gang is kind of interesting because they are a gang and they will like defend areas and have little hotspots like a gang. But also, if you cause a problem in Dogtown, they're the cops too. Like they show up instead of NCPD. Oh, that reminds me. By the way, I heard the greatest dispatcher dialogue in Pacifica. Actually, I got an NCPD dispatch dialogue where the dispatcher says, "All right, we got a disturbance in Pacifica," and the cop just sighs and responds, "All right, responding. Beat. You'll come to my funeral at least, right, dispatch?" And I'm just like, that's you. That's right. That's Pacifica.
I actually read about this. Apparently, there's like a little Easter egg. If you try to roll up into Dogtown in an NCPD vehicle, they'll actually like have it. They'll actually have a different reaction.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I might check that out because you can still only get police vehicles by jacking them or finding them parked somewhere.
Oh, but did you do the gig? Did you do the gig with for Stella?
Yes, I was actually about to bring that up because I know at least Axe will get that and some other people. But that's the gig with the cameo with Susie Spherehunter, the content creator. Yep. She's Stella. So yeah, that was actually really interesting. And this is something in general people say that I agree with and I like. All of the Dogtown gigs are basically like side quests.
Yeah.
Like they almost always have a little bit of extra NPC dialogue, a little bit of extra back and forth. There's the one you do for Stella, which involves, going into an old NCPD, station that's been taken over by Barguest to bail out her husband and his friend, and stuff like that. There was another where you go to help out a doctor who's being raided by scavs that has a very interesting conversation at the end.
I shot her? Did you actually listen to the end on that?
Yeah, I got through the conversation until, like, she was, like, strangling him, and I had to separate him. I let him get punched a couple times. He sucked.
He does suck, but
he does suck. But Mr. Hands was paying me to bail his ass out. So listen,
that one was kind of a raving lunatic too. I think.
Oh no, she was off her gourd, but like she wasn't in the wrong to be upset with him. But at the same time, it's one of those things where like Mr. Hands is paying me to keep this guy alive. I can't let you kill him. Okay, I can't let you beat his ass up. All right,
I do want to mention another interesting factoid. Stella, you remember the Edge Runners ending video, right?
Yeah.
They've actually come out with this in art and confirmed it that Stella is Sasha's sister as well.
Interesting. Well, she does have kind of a similar like look and haircut to how they.
Can I find the artwork real quick?
They should have, yeah. And they like to do a lot of these little cameos. I definitely feel like. Actually, I'm kind of glad in general that El Capitan gets so much focus in this. He also has like a him focused side job after you've done a couple of the car jobs for him. I won't tell you why he's doing it. I'll let you guys find that out on yourself. But the job is he wants you to clep an Arasaka truck full of medical supplies with the help of some NCPD badges on the sly. It's an interesting little look into why El Capitan be the way he be. But I'm kind of glad that he's so in focus with this because the little Edge Runner side stint definitely does hit a little different, going through all that, trying to figure out what's up and talking with Capitan about stuff. And I still see that the launch area, the offshore island, is still like on the map, and the game has not prompted me to go there yet. But I'm wondering if that'll come back.
There it is.
But yeah, there's a lot of really interesting side jobs and gigs and stuff. I was kind of pleasantly surprised when Coach Fred called me up with a side job that had some very interesting implications.
Actually, that reminds me, something I appreciate about this rework. You can fucking beat the fucking the champ without having to go too fucking crazy on your fisticuffs. Yeah, no, I beat him with fucking like 10 body, no fucking gorilla hands.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. I've been kind of avoiding the beat on the brat quests while I was leveling stuff up. I did go to body 10 just because I am gonna hit 20 in all my other stats except int. Just because the leveling is real good in this game. But I decided to raise body and not int because, well, I really needed 8 body to move that fucking dumpster out of the way of Brendan, and there's no other way to do that. So I had to help my favorite vending machine out. But yeah, so if that's good, then yeah, I'll have to make sure to scratch those off my list because
I think the only thing I do is I got solo up to like cousins.
Can I berserk in the Beat on the Brat fights?
You should be able to.
Oh, then I'm gonna have a great time. I've got a tier 5 plus iconic Militech berserk.
Yeah, no, like I had like solo like 35, and at 20 you do like 20% more damage and speed. But yeah, no, it's like as long as you like are block and counter, no, he's fine.
Yeah, and I do like that the skill system is completely divorced.
Yeah,
and you start picking up little things. Like I use my Mantis Blades, I get solo experience because I have enough body to force open doors. I get solo experience, and this is another benefit to doing like Mumar's things, and I presume the other things is when you get these little caches of stuff, you get a lot of skill chips, including for skills you aren't using. Like I've gotten Netrunner and solo EXP from just shards, in addition to all my other shit.
Once in a while, I'll pick up a shotgun and go on a bend. But other than that, I think I usually use a wide range of stuff. Like
yeah, the only thing that has been constant is that I have been using some sort of iconic katana. Currently, because I have been trying to make sure to go down my line with my quest for like Judy and Pan Am and stuff. I have gotten to the one at the end of the Clouds mission, which is actually pretty good because that does bonus shock damage. But yeah, no, so like there's a lot of fun stuff going on. And I do like how your core play is integrated. Have you done the side job in Dogtown related to God, what was this? Well, have you done any deep dives, Lucky?
Deep dives? In
Taking
Dogtown?
a hit of an inhaler of some sort.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So not only is that quest really interesting, I was a little worried I was gonna get punked again when Johnny was like, "V, I can't believe you're doing this," but I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" No.
I just did the other mission where you do the BD and you wake up in the scav haunts.
Yeah,
no. I just finished that one again.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. But yeah, no. So, but instead they do kind of they find their way to do their extra Johnny segment without involving Johnny, basically, which is pretty fun. You actually get to live a day in the life of Kurt Hansen, the big dog himself. But I do like that when you resolve that quest, you're presented with a normal binary, which is like, you got to frame your boss or you got to get the fuck out of town. But depending on what other quests you've done, you can get a third option, which is, hold on, let me call my friends.
I called my friends.
Yeah, no, I called Pan Am. I was like, Pan Am, I got some guys who need to get the fuck out.
I think that's one of the things, like, the thing that I really did appreciate that most, it made me feel like I had connections, that I had contacts.
Yeah, I mean, there was even a gig I did with, it was the gig in the stacks, the Longshore for, to get a prototype back, the prototype I.
Yeah.
Yeah,
with,
it's
the
in
guys.
a guy, and so he's like, okay, listen, here's the thing, and I'm like, yeah, let me call my fixer. All right, Mr. Hands, here's the dealio. I got the prototype, it's in a guy, and he's just like, cool, well, bingo bongo, we'll send it back. Okay, he don't want to go back. I would appreciate if you would do me a solid and just fix it. And he's just like, all right, but only because I like you.
It is pretty much only because he likes you.
Well, that's another thing. Like I said, they've overhauled him a little for the new gigs, but I appreciate, like, as much of a weirdo as he is, Mr. Hands is definitely like, and I admit I haven't fucked up any like objectives or anything, but most of the time Mr. Hands is like, no, V, I appreciate you're a professional, you do the biz, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. Like, I don't usually try and shim-sham my fixers in my role playing of V. I appreciate that this is a thing that I've seen circulating. Like, Cyberpunk is actually like a fairly decent game for you to get in-depth role-playing decisions. Like,
oh yeah, no, like with smoking, drinking.
Oh god, Clouds! I reloaded Pisces so many times because Michael is such a little shit. But Judy is very mad if you have to kill her. So if you can avoid killing her, that's when you get your first hints of romance, and Judy gives you a little kiss on the cheek. But I'm just like, oh my god, Michael, you are such a little. You just saw me go berserk and cut apart these 3 guys with a sword in like 4 seconds. A sword I stole off their table. Why the fuck do you think you can win this? You've got a bat. I am, ref 20, cool 20, tech 20 here, baby. Like, I do not give a single fuck. I am indeed built different, okay? And I have gotten the laughter to proc a couple times.
It's a little weird.
It's a little freaky, but, it's sometimes, you just gotta go apeshit, okay? You just gotta activate your Militech Berserk and just cut apart everyone in the room.
I do find it a little weird though, because does Edge Runner become useless after a certain point if you get enough Cyberpunk shards to get out of the zone?
No, I don't think. I think there is still a limit that you can Let
me see here.
I think there is still a space where it can be. You can exceed your capacity. There's some combos that even if you're maxed out will work. That and grinding for capacity shards could take you a while. That's because that's semi-randomized.
Yeah, no, I'm actually under limit now.
Yeah, I got under my limit with some rejiggering. That doesn't mean I should probably go back and adjust stuff though. I tried to lower my costs by switching to a different eye, but if I don't care about capacity, which I don't really, because I have that perk and also I am a monster. I'm level 50. We're fucking blitzed out of our mind here. We're fine. But yeah, so in general, not talking about the story stuff, Phantom Liberty's great. A lot of the content they add's real great.
I'm gonna be real. The intro is a fucking roller coaster.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was surprised at how in depth and long it was. It starts so low key.
It really does.
The moment you get out of Mapatang, where presumably you've done what every sensible V has done and beat the shit out of the Voodoo Boys.
I'm gonna be real. I had to waffle. I had to waffle back on the Grand Imperial Mall because I was like, okay, I've never taken Netwatch's deal before, but if I know if I don't take it, I'll have a chance just to murder them all later. I actually don't know what happens if you take the Netwatch deal.
Pretty sure they find Netwatch still does find a way to fuck them over, and it might even force a fight. Because strictly speaking, if you do it normally and just get out of the box, you can just tell Brigitte, hey, we're done. Don't ever talk to me again. I don't ever say that because
they tried to kill you twice.
Yeah. And also they're responsible for Evelyn's situation being so fucked up, which, causes Judy a great amount of emotional pain.
Yep.
The Voodoo Boys are fuckers, and Brigitte is one of those characters who lies as easily as she breathes. I feel no compulsion about just unsheathing my katana and, like I said, just dropping a berserk in the middle of those subway tunnels. But yeah, it's a thing. But literally, you walk out of that fucking place, you have a little convo with Johnny, and then Songbird is just like, hey, V. So you don't know me. I'm Songbird. I know you got a little problem. Can you get to the front of Dogtown real quick? And you're just like, okay,
sure.
And then immediately you start to have a very interesting time, because what happens in the front of Dogtown is Songbird plugs into the relic and, because that's apparently the only bit of hardware she can do an uplink from Space Force 1, because she's basically like, hey, I'm in Space Force 1, I'm with the president of the NUSA right the fuck now. We've been hacked, somebody's gonna bring us down to Dogtown. You are literally the only person I can talk to because of your hardware. But don't worry, I'm going to help you out with your little dying problem. And you're just like, what? Okay, I guess.
Cool. Sure.
Yeah, and this is a thing people were afraid of. She does put the mute button on Johnny, but it's only for that intro sequence, right?
Well, she basically takes the place of Johnny during that segment.
Yeah, she does.
Listen,
I have theories about what's happening that seem pretty obvious that are not confirmed yet, but
she and when I say she takes the place of Johnny, I mean literally she gets her own body, walks around, talks to you, but she's not actually there.
Yeah, and you can remark on this, oh, you look like the construct, I can see you and hear you. Though they do a very interesting transparency thing with her, her jacket blends in with the background color and stuff.
Yeah.
And you get to spend a decent amount of time with Songbird as she just sneaks you into Dogtown. You get to do some fucking parkour and stuff, show off your skills. You get to do that one animation where you fucking cross the wires and pull the chip out a lot.
Yep.
But that's technically the cold open. Because you get to the top of the fucking, studio, you see the space plane coming in, and then, you drop Songbird, and then it just plays the fucking title card, Fate of Liberty. And we're like, okay, shit.
Well, it's a bit more than that, because, God, that jet came close.
Yeah, no, you do almost get run over by Space Force One.
Then you see it crash, and you're just like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
And you just let the cold open, and then you start running, like, oh, man.
Yeah, and you gotta haul ass all the way across Dogtown, while, Bargus' hackles are up, you're trying to be on the down low, you're getting this back and forth with Songbird. She does come back after a while, and, you, honestly, I think that Cyberpunk has the potential for this kind of, like, highfalutin stuff. Like, honestly, if you want to talk about, like, the metaplot of the Cyberpunk RPG, right, like, some people might, if they don't know more about the RPG, might think that, like, oh, it feels kind of weird for V to suddenly be rescuing the president of the entire United States. No. You were there when Saburo Arasaka got murdered. Like, you have already been, like, adjacent to some of the biggest metaplot things happening in the Cyberpunk universe this decade, Like, that's a big fucking deal. Like, Saburo is a major plot character since the beginning when they printed the original, like, 2013 version of Cyberpunk.
Listen, the point of Cyberpunk is when a normal job goes horribly, horribly wrong.
Yeah. And it's about, high-tech, low life, right? That's one of the definers. So what's higher tech than, like, the fucking president's space plane, So you fucking trundle out there, you kill a bajillion dudes, save the president. You have some very... I don't even know if I want to present my theory, because it might tilt some people, but you have some very interesting conversations with Songbird about her having ejected and resuming contact, but she never shows up physically, but you do rescue the president, and you have some interest, like you said, this segment's very involved. Like, you go to the crash site, you have this whole fucking shootout, and then you have to walk with President Myers out of there and, like, sneak her to the safe house. Which includes going through, like, a Militech museum exhibit. They kind of, talk about the history of Dogtown. It was supposed to be, like, it was similar to Pacifica. It was supposed to be like an expansion region. There was a lot of Militech money poured into it because this is when they were trying to get back into Night City, talking about the backstory and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, actually getting some slightly embittered comments from Somi about this.
Yeah.
Even though in general, like, obviously President Myers isn't going to shit talk the person helping her out. She's, like, nothing but positive about Songbird.
I don't know. Real talk, I kind of like President Myers, like, kind of this...
She's a corpo, but, like,
she's not afraid to scrap, though.
She's a Militech corpo. It's kind of like Meredith Stout in that respect, where, like, she was willing to basically fucking 1v1 the entire Barghest force because she was the only person left alive other than a couple of her robots at the crash site, right?
Yeah.
Like, and she's no slouch in helping you fight. But I have heard that it's a fork, so it's not like a guarantee that you will get this version of the quest, but there are some sides of Phantom Liberty that get very, like, horror show. And I think I got a little bit of a preview of that, because eventually what happens is, when you're going through that Militech museum, you run into an old piece of tech. What was it called? The robot. It was
called the Chimera, because
I still
have the Chimera core.
Yes, yeah, it's the Chimera. So they've got a spider tank that's, old and decrepit. So Songbird is like, all right, I'll power it up, and it gets powered up, and it fucking fights off all the guys. And then something happens to Songbird. She gets a little trip, goes on a little ride, and loses control of the Chimera, and then you have this fucking, like, classic chase sequence into boss fight shit against a cyberpunk as fuck spider tank. And that guy's a fucker.
It was tough. Good. So you have to run away and fucking...
You gotta drop like a ceiling fixture on it after you get thrown through, like, a floor and stuff, You actually, like, get to fight it in multiple sequences. You gotta, like, look for its vulnerabilities. It has a lot of really interesting attacks with, like... It's got a big, like, energy weapon gun. It has, micro missiles, machine guns, and shit. At one point, you temporarily disable it, and it deploys repair drones for a phase you gotta clean up.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's, like, a real big, drawn-out bit. And even then, that's not, like, technically the full intro, because, like I said, then you still have to, like, finish escorting President Myers to this old hotel. You go up to, like, a little safe house. You run into some guys. I was next to them.
Yeah.
I was like, listen, homies, we can all be cool. You're on the outside. You've been talking. You're obviously on the outs with Barghest. We're on the outs with Barghest. Everything's fine. Also, yes, chat. If you're getting some weird vibes from the fact that the gang is called Barghest, yeah, it happens.
it's got to me. Every time I'm just like, this is not the Bargist I know.
Yeah, but they're a vaguely dog-themed gang running Dog Town, in a dog-eat-dog world. It's really interesting that they have this kind of, like, bright, like, day-glow yellow-green color.
Mm-hmm.
You can always identify a Bargist, style weapon because it's bright yellow. But yeah, they're chilling around. They have even their own custom vehicles. You can buy a Colby Bargist, which is their, like... I fucking love it. The vehicle model it's based on is, like, the fucking Colby station wagon thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a fucking armored up station wagon covered in, like, reactive plates and shit. It's so funny. But yeah, you can get those and stuff like that. But yeah, so you gotta dodge them and chillin', and that's when you get set up on, like, the second phase quest, where, Myers is hanging out, she changes clothes, you got some stuff to talk about, and she gives you a little challenge coin. So, I gotta ask, Lucky, did you say the oath?
Hell no.
I did, because I wanted to get into the vibe of it, but yeah, it's an interesting one. You do at this point, because you had to retreat through the sewers, you get Johnny back,
mm-hmm.
and he has some fun stuff to say. I do like that, like, he doesn't really, if you say the oath, he doesn't really fight you too long, he just says, V, you probably shouldn't have did that, and I'm just like, why, you got some complaints? And he's just like, no, you were just overdue with chewing out. Listen, I know what's up, I jumped into uniform, you gotta be careful what you're fighting for, but, I don't really care, I'm Johnny. Come here.
I feel like this Johnny is mellow Johnny after, you go... Well, it kind of is, because like I said, you can only do this after you've gone through the Voodoo Boys, and as soon as you leave that quest, you have a sit-down with fucking Johnny, and you talk some shit.
You have one of your big sit-downs. Honestly, no, there's a sit-down with Johnny, like, after every major story quest. The only thing the only, Act 2 main story beat I haven't done is down on the street. Takamura has been waiting at that diner for forever, for 40 hours or whatever.
I'm at Gimme Dangers. I did like 2 of them.
Yeah.
But
I'm like, almost done with, like, Judy's sideline. Yeah, and I'm pretty decently into Pan Am. It's always funny where I'm like, I complete one quest, I mind my own business, but because I'm so far in the other story stuff, I'm like literally in the middle of casing out this dockyard to steal that Arasaka semi-truck I mentioned, and Pan Am's like, hey, V, what's up? Need some help. You come right away, and I'm just like, yeah, sure. Like, cool, alright, I got a problem. I can't talk about it on the phone, talk about person. Is it Saul? You read me like a book. Anyway, bye, see you later. I'm just like, okay. But yeah, no, it's good to still see those moments, and that's why, like I said, I've been making sure to bounce back and forth, because I know that you will, once you complete those quest lines, like, you will get, little calls or little texts from your friends, and I'm just, that's something they did in the 1.5, 1.6-ish era, but it's still really nice.
I love that shit. I really do.
Oh no, like, I don't think you know this, because I don't did you restart and go through your Nomad timeline yet?
No, not fully.
Yeah. So, but, like, they added a whole, like, subplot to Judy's romance where, like, she wants you to, like, talk to her grandmother, and you, like, end up texting with Judy's abuela. Like, it's a whole little, and it's interactive, like I said. You actually text back to her, so, like, it's a whole little subplot they added, like, all in text for, like I said, 1.5 or 1.6. So, like, there's all those fun little moments. But yeah, like, that's all really good. But yeah, so, like, I got my coin, got my thing, and then I was like, oh, I can actually leave Dogtown now. Cool. Let me go do some side jobs and some gigs and stuff. So when if it's not too late when I get out of here, I will probably get back to that. I might try and do a little 14, though I am seeing our 14 news desk talk about how apparently the servers are being DDoSed, so...
They are? What? Hang on.
Yeah, no, look in news desk 14. Technical difficulties caused by DDoS attacks.
Who is DDoSing 14?
It might be an unintentional DDoS, because the FanFest is tomorrow, technically.
Well, yeah, no, I think the keynote's in, like, 5 hours?
Yeah.
No, brain, like 6 hours. 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah, so guess what? We won't be streaming through the keynote this time.
Nope.
Thanks, London time. But yeah, so that'll be a thing we'll be able to talk about later. But yeah, I'm interested to see what's up with that. But that might be possible. But yeah, if the servers are being DDoSed, I'm probably not going to get in there.
Oh yeah, no. I pulled it up. Players may be experiencing the following issues: disconnected from the EU data server worlds, difficulties logging into the EU data center world, difficulty accessing, sending, and receiving data from EU data centers.
Okay, so it is the EU side, but that's probably because people are fucking London. Alternatively, also, there's probably people who are not normally from the EU data centers who are trying to get their fucking signal routed out of EU because they're in London for FanFest. Yeah, so I don't. We might wait until after this clears up a little. I'll see. Because we do got some stuff we can do in 14, but also we're having fun. I haven't seen Loth at all today though, so I don't know if we would be doing any Stardew at all either.
I mean, I am down for whatever. I've been playing plenty of Cyberpunk, and I can stop for whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I've been getting in a lot as well. I just, like I said, haven't been working as much on the main story. I still don't know if I might pick it to reload it, but from what I mean, obviously, one, I'm a tarot nerd, so I already, like you said when you found out that the ending is called The Tower, like, that immediately is like, that's like naming one of your endings the devil. That's not great.
No, it's not.
That's the only other one that I think would be bad is if they named an ending like Moon, which I would be like, that's a fake ass ending. That's not real.
That's a dream.
Yeah, so like that's, I already don't know if I'm gonna go through with that like particular ending because this is already I did a whole redo of my original character, which was my Nomad run, so I might still just go for the star and just fucking get the fuck out of here. But I at least do want to get more into the story, because I've heard a lot of praise for Idris Elba's performance in the game, and I'm like, I gotta see what's up with him.
Oh, no, he good.
Yeah, like, even though I've only met them for, like, the breadth of, like, one major story quest, though it was, like we said, still very involved. It almost felt like the whole intro, like, front to end almost feels about as long as, like, the heist.
It kind of does, yeah, now that I think about it.
Like, it's very event dense with multiple shenanigans there, multiple phases and runarounds. That's the interesting thing about the heist itself is it's a lot more like geographically contained, but very story heavy. But yeah, so like I'll want to get in there and see, because President Myers and Songbird already have some very interesting characterization. Some stuff to see there. Like we said, Myers is a corpo, but she's not afraid to get her hands dirty. The moment she thinks that, like, she realizes, oh yeah, I'm the president of the United States, I got a subdermal tracker in my neck. If we've been betrayed, somebody's gonna fucking find us. Here, V, hold this piece of superheated glass.
Yeah.
It's the cyberpunk world, she's the president of the United States, and, like, I think she is still the CEO of Militech, or was the CEO of Militech before becoming the president or something. Like, there's no way she's a nice lady, but, like, she's at least willing to get hands-on with some shit, which is cool. So, like, I'm eager to get in there, and I've been trying to keep my eye out for new weapons. I've picked up a handful of uniques, iconics, from the DLC, and I have seen, I think, some actual DLC weapons. Like, there's a new tech pistol that I think is brand new, very big and blocky. It's kind of fun. So it's a good time trying out all the stuff, cleaning out all the fucking clothing stores.
I really appreciate, like, they don't have it's not perfect, but they do have a tab that tells you what items you don't have in your wardrobe right now. I'm all like, perfect.
And I do like that you can now, I think this is relatively newer, but you can access your wardrobe from clothes merchants.
Yes. I don't know if that's newer, but I do.
Yeah, I don't remember that feature, but it might have just been something that I didn't get into in, like, 1.5, right?
Yeah.
But still, it's pretty good. And there are also new items, which some have mechanical uses and some don't. Like, there's, like, utility harnesses. You can just wear, like, a fucking bandolier of, like, gauze and grenades, which, like, gives you, quick item charge. Yeah, recharge up, stuff like that. There's a couple of new helmets that are really interesting. And then there's just, like, cosmetic stuff that I like.
Oh, Omega, did you know that you can craft the Chimera Core into a mod?
Oh, it becomes a mod? No, yeah, I haven't spotted that.
Yeah, no, apparently, I found this when I was digging through my mods, but because there's just a few mods that power up and, like, use one Chimera Core, and I was like, oh. But they're crazy mods. Apparently, like, there's, like, one for each of the gun types and then a melee one. And you can only do it once, so, beware. But
so
you should
check it out, yeah.
Yeah, check that out.
That's neat. There's a lot of these, I love a lot of this little level up stuff they're doing in Phantom Liberty.
Yeah.
Like we said, like the items you can buy and all the other new little things. Like, it's real good work. It's making a lot of people sad that there won't be, like, probably another DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Though I will say, I'm pretty sure Phantom Liberty is so polished because I think they have been working on this basic, I mean, obviously, I think after the game launched, they were, like, working around the clock to get the game patched, but I'm fairly certain Phantom Liberty has been in the cards since the game launched, right? So, like, it's taken them, like, 2 years to get to this point. So, like, that's a long DLC cycle. But it's getting a lot of praise, which is cool, and I appreciate it. As always, I've been a big fan of Cyberpunk, and so I'm glad as usual to see it getting its druthers.
Yeah.
Speaking of games getting its druthers, Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man came out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it came out.
Yeah, it came out, I believe, today or yesterday. I'm not entirely sure.
Very recently. I just remember that Spider-Man 2, like the reviews were out.
People are talking well about it. Unfortunately, I decided not to pick it up on release. I will probably get it at some point, but I got games to get through.
Yeah, no, that's my same. Like, yep, 91 on Metacritic, doing great.
Nice.
So like, I'm glad it's getting praised, but like I said, I've only just gotten to the meat and potatoes of Cyberpunk, and I still do genuinely want to beat Armored Core. Like, I saw a video of whatchamacallit, it was called When Two Laser Lances Meet, and I was like, there's a laser lance in this game? And it's basically like a Gurren Lagann drill arm, you know. They call it a laser lance, but it's a drill made of energy, and I'm like, damn, that's fucking rad. I do gotta go back and beat that game, you know? Like, there's a lot of cool stuff there. It took me a while to get into it, so like, and I still want to finish up Sea of Stars as well. I got a second playthrough of Samurai Remnant to get to, and also I think if you've managed to accomplish it in the meantime, let me know. But when last we spoke about this, I believe you also hadn't actually played the Miles Morales sub game either. Yeah,
I have not.
So I'm like, I bought that. I should probably play that at some point before we get to Spider-Man 2 as well. So yeah, like I'm glad it's doing so well, and I'm nice to see it still getting that pull. But it's just not a great time for me game-wise to get into it, you know. So I'm glad to see it getting its flowers. We should mention that we are bad about time and space.
Yeah.
But also, this is very confusing. I'm pretty sure the Alan Wake release date has changed a couple of times, and I double-checked once. I think it was on... I don't remember if it was on this show. It was somewhere, and I was like, release date says the 27th, and you were like, no, it got moved up, right? And I double-checked, and I was like, well, yeah, some people say it's, like, I think it was supposed to be like the 17th or stuff. Now it's back to the 27th. This was made more confusing by I decided to double-check what PlayStation Store had to say about this. Last I checked, on the official PlayStation Store website, it just says, coming out 2023, so, like, the date has been moved around a little, and we got confused. I think you can tell it's not out because I don't think there's, like, reviews out anywhere or anything, but it was a little confusing. We will get there when we get there. But yeah, let's see. Well, we crossed about the 2 hours mark. Probably don't want to go too much longer, because it is almost midnight for me.
Well, I do want to mention, because I did watch Captain Laserhawk, the Blood Dragon remix, I did also take that opportunity to finish Castlevania Nocturne.
Alright, yeah, that's what I was going to ask if you had actually gone through with that. Yeah, so...
Yeah.
I guess anybody, hey, spoiler hats on if you haven't watched all of Nocturne.
Yeah.
Though, believe it or not, the official Castlevania Nocturne Twitter has been slightly spoiling things since like a week after it came out.
Really? Oh,
well, yeah. I mean, you saw it to the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, they started tweeting pictures of Alucard in the series.
Oh.
So, like, I saw that somewhere on like my For You, and I'm like, ooh, whoa, that's a little fast, guys. Like, I mean, I know we're all excited. We want to see the boy, but like, damn.
Oh, the boy is fabulous, by the way.
Yeah. No.
It really is. I'm glad that we actually got through Symphony of the Night before I saw that, because I could then say, oh no, that is Symphony of the Night Alucard. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that long hair and that flowiness, and that cape.
No, they're definitely playing more towards his symphony design in this, especially, which obviously makes sense because it's the right. Even if the plot does not remotely resemble Rondo or Symphony, the time frame is correct.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. When fucking Erzabet turns into a fucking cat goddess, I'm just like, okay, we've kind of lost this here.
I don't know what's happening.
I really don't.
I guess she's the vampire messiah, the devourer of light. Sure.
She kept saying it, but I kept thinking, she can't be. There's got to be some sort of fucking hoax. There's got to be a trick, a thing. Nope, she actually is,
She just goes full Sekhmet mode and turns off the sun.
Okay.
Shout out to fucking Richter Belmont, though, for this. This chick rolls up to the church where he's having, a deep existential crisis. What does he do? Guess I'll fucking fight that vampire. Like, he doesn't ever get, like, disheartened by that fight with Bathory either. He goes to the mat. He gets his ass kicked because it's, it's like the final boss fucking showed up to disc 1, but he tries. Boy, he tried. But yeah, I guess, the big thing is, one, how did you feel about Richter at the lake, that moment when he gets his magic back?
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, that's
so well
fucking
animated.
rad. I've gone back and watched that scene solo a couple of times.
I just love how he just... Sypha, like, did a lot of cool shit, but just how seamlessly he integrated it into his own combat was amazing. Just, putting the ice over his arms, going straight into fucking, like, whip work, and then, I think that, like, it wasn't at the lake, but the scene where they're at the church and he's fighting, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name, like, Drolta?
Yeah, Drolta.
And stuff, and he's just, it's just a fucking fist fight, and he's just I was like, God damn.
I didn't want to give it all away, but the thing I mentioned when I talked about when I'd watched through the whole series is the stuff they do with Richter's, like, choreography and the way they handle fights with him when he gets that power-up is, like, unreal. It is everything you liked about choreo from Castlevania, and they were like, what if we truly put together Sypha and Trevor's movesets and added some new shit? Like, it's rad. And it's real great. And, like, obviously they do that a lot for everybody. Like, they try their hardest to make, Maria's summoning weird animals, rad as hell.
Listen, shout out to Maria's Black Tortoise uppercut.
Yeah. No, she does some great moves as well. But yeah, so, like, that's kind of that thing. And then we have, I wouldn't say a classic Castlevania ending. Only like half the season ended like this, but there's a little bit of a cliffhanger and a down moment where everybody thinks they're, we're on the outs, we're gonna die, and then Alucard does kind of show up out of the blue to be like, "Sup, I'm Alucard, son of Dracula. If you want to die, at me, vampires." And the vampires are like, "Nope, no, don't want that smoke. I'm out."
I do love it how, like, they've just been having so much trouble with Doltra, and literally Alucard just shink.
Yeah. Just
one stab. Just done. And I love how, I don't know if this was meant to be sassy, but I just have the feeling that when Alucard said it's all like, there's a Belmont and it seems like you're on the precipice of utter defeat. He's just thinking, just like old times.
Yeah, no, that's gotta be intentional. That's exactly how Alucard was like 300 years ago. He's just gotta be seeing this fresh-faced Belmont kid and be like, "Yep, that's the Belmont." Oh, you must be the Belmont.
Just like Dad.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm obviously we still have the acting strike to go through. And there's still some work to be done on that. But I am glad that at the moment, we appear to have greenlit the season 2 because, as usual, this is not a complete story. This is, definitely like an Act 1 type piece. But there's definitely some exotic, heavy hitting shit. There's some real emotional stuff like with Annette and Edouard, my sweet boy.
So sweet.
And then, so sweet, even when they turn him into a monster, he's just like, "Nah, dude, I'm just gonna sing, man."
Sorry, I did the DiCaprio point when Eduardo's singing brought back Jocks. I was like, it's the boy.
Yeah. No, there's some great stuff there. And there are some very interesting scenes. It's funny, and because people are like picky about the continuity, like when Annette ambushes her former master vampire in that churchyard right before sunup, right? Like,
right.
In the original Castlevania series, Trevor says that vampires aren't actually concerned about the cross as a religious object. But he can't cross the crosses. But I think the scene's too cool to like fight about it, Like, she uses her metal bending powers to create a field of iron crosses and be like, "Hey, fuck you," and that motherfucker dies. So yeah, no, but it's a little bit of a different plot direction, but definitely gonna be some very like serious emotional weight to like future stuff. God, I do not know. First of all, Orlok, great guy. He's pretty.
Oh,
cool.
I love Orlok.
Like, there's some back and forth there, and I like that he explains his backstory. That like, yes, he killed Richter's mom out of revenge, but also that other great character, the Knight, who just kind of be like, that's your fault though, right? You turned that guy into a vampire, and that's why he got. That's your fault. And it's just like, Anyway,
yeah, I wanted to love him forever.
But God, the father, the priest, man, he sucks so much.
He does.
And
he sucks so much.
I felt that was gonna be a hard hurdle to clear after the first Castlevania series, but ooh boy, he still sucks. I am glad at least that they do have some characters in the church who are not complete dickheads, like our Knight Hospitalier friend.
I mean, he is a dickhead, but
I mean, yeah, he's kind of a jock, but like he's not any more of an asshole than I think most of our main characters are.
This is true.
But like
I said, and when he realizes that shit was going bad, he was all like, "Nope."
yes,
I'm
he's
out.
like, this actually contravenes my moral and ethical code. I'm gonna get out of here. Better skedaddle. But yeah, no, like, so there's gonna be a lot, I think, of payoff with the father, with what's happening with Maria's mother.
Ugh.
Like, they still kept some solid emotional beats to set up for a next season while still giving you plenty of payoff, with some interesting, this is, I think, where you were last time we talked about it with, like, Richard's grandpa and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, Castlevania Nocturne, real good. Thumbs up.
Real good. I hardly recommend it. For probably one more topic that we'll probably end after this. I did mention it in the intro, but Captain Laserhawk, the Blood Dragon remix, has just premiered on next Netflix, and I'm gonna heartily recommend it to you guys. It's only 6 episodes? I believe it's 6. It's 6 to 8 episodes. I believe it's 6 though. And it was executive produced by by the same guy who did the first season of Castlevania, by the way. And oh god, I don't necessarily know how I'm gonna sell you on this, but imagine someone took the idea of a bunch of Ubisoft IP characters, put them into a cyberpunk dystopia, and then made
Dragon specifically, I think.
Oh, Blood Dragon remix.
Yeah.
And then turned them into the Suicide Squad. That's kind of what this series is. I really don't want to get into the details of it because I want people to go and watch it and give it a try. But they do something very interesting. They take characters, like they have Jade from Beyond Good and Evil. They have an assassin from Assassin's Creed. He is the best character, by the way, because he is a frog. His name is Bullfrog, but he is an assassin, and he's French. A French bullfrog assassin named Bullfrog. I love him.
That does sound pretty good.
And they have other characters, and they have Pagan Min from Far Cry 4. They have Rayman from Rayman. You probably all have heard this because you've probably seen Rayman trending around on Twitter right now, and boy howdy, he steals the show, definitely in the last 2 episodes. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were kind of poleaxed by what they've done with Rayman in this series, where it sounds like he is kind of an antagonist, but which obviously as the protagonist of his own game series is a little exotic, but it seems to have grabbed some attention. Like I said, I wasn't quite sure what the source was, but you actually sitting down and watching a series, even if it's only 6 episodes, and saying it's pretty good is kind of like, okay, all right, I can do this. I can jump in and check this out sometime.
Yeah, no, I think you will like it. I consider Captain Laserhawk a win for what do I want to call this? Because it is funny. This show likes to take the piss, and it's kind of great. They do a lot of funny things. They do a lot of what do I say? Artistic choices. Some segments will just look like old video game segments. At one point, when 2 characters are sneaking through a facility, it goes on to it switches while they're talking. It switches to a 2D top-down view with pixels and sprites, and them moving around the screen as they talk, doing stuff. Another version has an old Nintendo side scroller, beyond Bionic Commando or Contra, as the characters moving and fighting. Well,
so
that's
it sounds like they're making the jokes from a place of love kind of a thing.
Yes.
Where, obviously, the people who made this show get the references, they have the cred, and so even when they're being funny and, parodying stuff, you know where it's coming from. So that's always more positive when you know the people making something are doing it as kind of a labor of love.
Yeah, no, they have some other thing where they actually, I believe they use the original, it is actually quite hilarious. They get the voice actors, put them in character costume, and then put a pixelation over them, so it looks like they're from an old full motion video game.
Oh, I love that.
As they are having this conversation, there's a reason for it, and it will
shot on shitty old FMV game filter. Oh, that's good.
No, it's good, and it's filled with tropes and cliches, but also at the same time will completely subvert your expectation of what will happen in this. Oh, it's very good with the comedy, but also very good with the serious. That's why I don't want to say another win for Western Western adult animation, because unfortunately a lot of Western adult animation is usually focused on comedy.
that is still Western. I do believe this was produced mostly in France.
Yeah, yes, it was.
Ubisoft is French originally, so
yes.
French animation do be hitting a little different. If y'all remember Code Lyoko, Wakfu, and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no.
So it's a little bit of a different flavor, but yeah.
But
I guess it's just another solid hitter in Netflix's animation catalog.
Oh, definitely.
Reminds me,
like I said, give it a watch. I do believe they have teased a season 2 already, but it probably will not be out until 2025 though. So you got time. You got time to watch it.
November 17th is Scott Pilgrim takes off.
Well, we got some time for that then.
Yeah. But I'm glad to see Netflix do be serious about their animation. Obviously not always, like, I'm a big fan of Inside Job, which definitely got kind of fucked over. It got split into 2 seasons when it was really 1 season and canceled after that, which is sad. And Netflix does make some of those decisions, but it's also, good to see some stuff do the run.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also glad to see Lucky watching some Netflix animation. There's some shows I can recommend on there. I at some point want to try and get Lucky to watch all of Netflix the animated She-Ra, just so we can understand how deeply this series has sat with me for forever. I'm also thinking about doing a rewatch again myself. It's been like a year since I watched it all through. By the way, this chat is how you always know when Omega likes a series, if he has to contemplate whether or not it's time for him to do his once a year run through. I do that with the old Star Wars X-Wing and Wraith Squadron novels. At this point, Dresden Files is so long that I feel like I can only go through the entire thing every 2 years. But
yeah,
that's the thing I regularly will do. We'll go back and filter through at certain points, and I also feel that way about believe it or not, the Netflix She-Ra. But I have the first 3 seasons of that on DVD, so I don't even need Netflix. I could just kidnap Lucky in a VC and run that through before.
Oh no,
it doesn't mind me. I still need to think about. I've heard some different event things. Need to think about places to maybe do some event stuff on Discord and maybe some movies or something. We'll figure some stuff out because we've done some weird sittings. Loth has had us sit through Ned before, and it was a trip. So there's some time for some of that, but all right. Yeah, so definitely I'll try and give it a crack, especially if it's shorter. I can work that in while I'm still farming or doing other stuff.
Only 6 episodes.
I've been kind of phasing back and forth, I've just to have something else to do. I'm watching people do video game streams and videos and stuff, and watching clips of stuff on YouTube. But also I have poked Netflix occasionally. I've been back into watching Peaky Blinders again, which is it's a British show starring Cillian Murphy, fresh out of his Scarecrow phase, but pre-Oppenheimer. But they're a British street gang who have razors what's sewn into their flat caps. That's why they're the Peaky Blinders. They'll blind you with their peakies. But yeah, it's just immediate post-World War I, British crime drama. I'd watched the first couple of seasons before, and there's 6 of them total. I was just oh yeah, I remember that. Why did I never finish that series? So I just have occasionally watched it back from the beginning. If you like the crime stuff, give it a click. But yeah, we've crossed the midnight marker, going for about 2:20. Some of that'll be cut in the edit, so we can probably wind this on down. Yeah. Hopefully this is a good flexing of what our What's Up type segments will be like. We're just talking about whatever's on our minds, catching the people up on some stuff. But yeah, okay. That's probably if Lucky has nothing further to add about that or anything, we'll probably do a wrap up.
Wrap it up.
Let me double check. Fan Server Friday. I think that was over last time, but I want to double check. Scrolling back. Oh, no, it did not end because the final results are a tie.
Gasp.
So I need a lucky tiebreaker. Our 2 tied winners are writer Frau Gauden and caster Takayashi Hime. Yeah, I figured that was going to happen. All right. So keep an eye out for that, next one. Yeah, we got one more show, the 27th. Okay. So yeah, that'll be next week's show. Spooky. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Alrighty, then yes, it's time to outro on out of here. So, hey, if you like this video and you're watching on YouTube, be sure to click that like button. You got any comments, you can leave them in the comment section down below. You can also check out our mailbag. It will almost assuredly have been posted either the moment Lucky finished reading the mailbag or now when I brought it up. If he didn't post it, when we close the segment, which is what we usually do, he will probably remember now that I brought it up. So you can check out mailbag right now.
Right now.
It's open all week. We do occasionally drop reminders. I remember to tweet it out on Monday, and Lucky gave a last minute announcement on today as well. So keep that in mind. But leave your comments, join our Discord, link in the description. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this and other stuff. And you make sure to ring that bell so you always know when we're posting a new video or when we're streaming. We will be starting a new Monday stream series because we did wrap up Symphony Night, which will be Final Fantasy VII Remake, which will be carrying us forward for a while.
For a long while.
But I hope we get to have some fun, though, because Remakes is a great game, and it'll serve as a great recap before Rebirth. So we hope you'll join us. Yeah, that's okay. Make sure to consider joining our channel memberships. Click that join button, get access to membership badges and emotes. Good for comments, mailbags, or live stream chats. And, like you said at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. Get access to the episode early in audio format for as little as $1 you do a month, or approximately $10 a year. At higher levels, you can vote in polls like our Fan Servant Friday poll. Concerned about that tie? You could have broken the tie yourself by voting. And also, other fun stuff. And, at our highest levels, our golden up, you can listen to this show get recorded live every week. That's it for me. We'll see you guys back next week for more Let's Tech FGO, and keep your eyes peeled for our usual weekly streaming schedule starting Monday. So
have a good night, everyone.
Yep. Good night and good luck.